Build on topics, what's conscious and cosmic. It's never nonsense. Mega levels are microscopic. It's a Killah Priest project. AD control the rock. Before we land the plane, many things we engage and explain. The unexplained without mask. Welcome to the Killah Priest podcast.
David Weiss, right? Yo, what's up, everybody?
Special Wu-Tang banger.
No doubt, bro. I was right on the spot, man. Welcome to another episode of Killah Priest podcast. I am your host, Killah Priest, the Iron Sheik from the Middle East. I'm almost there, so prepare. I say peace. And on my side, a special guest, returning guest, Macabre. I mean,
Yeah,
Macabre. I gotta say that right. That's Macabre.
The Cobra, that's what it said.
Where it come from, right? All right. Macabra's in the building, and controlling the rocket is no one other than A.D. Dizzle. What up?
Yeah, what's up? What's up? It's gonna be a wild show tonight.
Yo,
get ready.
We got a special guest in the building.
Yo,
everybody, I need y'all in the chat room to get ready to turn up. Let me shout out Jody in the chat room. Jody in the building. Good evening.
Yeah, we're gonna go.
What up?
Yeah. What's good to everybody? We got a real good topic today, man. Real good topic, because we got to get down to the bottom of this, man.
Facts.
We got to get down to the bottom.
Facts.
I tried to finish it before.
Time to body slam it now.
Yeah, we got Vinny returning, and we sat there. We was like, yo, I want to come to the conclusion. You know what I mean? A conclusion. Is the Earth flat or is it round? You know what I mean? What you think?
It's round, right?
It's round, right? It's round and round.
Maybe.
Indeed. But today we got an expert on this subject. And Vinny, shout out to Vinny. Vinny's in the building. David Weiss.
Thank you, Killah.
Yeah. And we have I'm gonna let Vinny do the honors of introducing this legend, this flat earth legend. You know what I'm saying? Good speaker. I'm gonna let you do the honors of doing that. But right before you do it, I just want to shout out to Twilight Zone. I see you up there. And Nene is in the building. Shout out to her, Lion Cat. What's that? Cyrus Biz.
Yeah.
Deadbeat.
Serious Biz.
Yeah, Serious Biz. Kaba Praxis is in the building. Yeah, look at you. Your flat earthers are coming in the building. And my round and round. What we call ourselves? The round and round.
I just said, like you said,
ballers. You guys are ballers.
Yeah, we ballers. Yeah, we ballers. We
balling.
Yeah, exactly.
Globetrotters.
Yeah, we globetrotters. We the globetrotters. Yo, all right. So we got everybody in here. We're gonna do the tea ceremony a little quicker because I want to get into this. I can't wait, man. Word. So everybody home, and then I'm gonna pass it off to Vinny so we can get into this. I'm gonna pour the tea. Today we're drinking matcha. We're gonna just do it off with some matcha. Matcha tea. I already pre-made mine, and I'm gonna take the pour. And AD, what you doing?
I'm having mocha latte.
Oh, you got fancy on us.
Mocha
latte.
I'm trying to get my caffeine
on us real fast.
Okay, mocha latte. Well, we drinking straight up matcha. Word.
Facts.
Yeah. Just pause for you. I'm gonna do that. Peace to everybody. I see you, Jose, Tori, Serious Biz. I see Nene. Everybody getting their tea. I got y'all because we're gonna be drinking it throughout the whole episode. We're gonna waiting on AD to get it pour his milk in there. Is that almond milk?
No, it's 1% organic cow milk.
Oh, cow milk. Yeah. Okay. Man, that cold is crazy.
Cold, that joint just manifested out of nowhere for me, but that just was just like, it was amazing.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. We're gonna explain all that. That's crazy. Yeah, that's dope. Aurora Borealis in the building. The MCs are coming in. Yeah, they're coming in the building. Protons, electrons causes explosion. Shut up.
Yeah. Electrons always cause explosion.
All right, so AD's ready.
Yeah.
All right. Dave in the house, Vinny in the house. I'm gonna let him introduce before we, I don't want to blow it too quick. But we're gonna lift our glass and we do our tea ceremony early.
Facts.
You wanna say anything to them?
Man, peace to the gods.
The camera
You know what
right
I'm
there. Yeah. Peace to the gods.
It's time to build.
Yeah.
It's time to build. Let's
There you
build.
go.
It's
There you
about to go down.
Time to build.
Oh yeah.
Time to build. Man, building is very, very important, man. It raises the consciousness. That's why we call it building, because it's climbing up them staircases.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so it's time to build.
Foundation.
Yeah.
Find a nice foundation, man. So we're gonna learn something here today. Oh,
We're gonna learn about our foundation.
oh shit. Yes, yeah, we're gonna do that. Vinny, all right, y'all.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's just get ready. I mean, AD
So,
can't
yeah,
wait. Look at AD.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to be the hype man for this one.
Okay.
So-
All right.
So yeah, if Flat Earth was the rap game, we got Killah Flat Earther Dave, and pretty excited. You said get the guest. I think this is like the rap star of Flat Earth, and he's got NASA technology. He's got a green screen behind him. So
Straight from NASA, correct. Here's the proof of the globe.
That's looking
so
like.
I just wanted to thank you.
It's in
I
the
just wanted to thank
scientists, huh?
you.
Mhm.
So let me just thank you and tell everybody in the chat, hit the thumbs up, get the chat going, be nice to everybody. Hit the bell. When you subscribe, hit the bell and hit the all. You want to get all. So every time Killah podcast goes live, you get the message on your phone or whatever. So let's enjoy the show. And I'm going to get out of here because I can't wait to watch too. Thanks a lot, Killah.
All right.
Thanks, Vinny.
You didn't introduce him.
Yeah, say his name.
He's Killah Flat Earther.
Oh, that's
That's my new name. Killah Flat Earth. I like it. Killah Dave.
David
I'll
Weiss.
take Killah Dave.
David Weiss, man. Yo,
It's Weiss, right?
Weiss, yeah,
White's
David-
like ice.
Yeah,
Nice.
David Weiss. Ladies and gentlemen, bringing you live, direct, who's going to take us to the level. This is how you should have did it, man. Take us to the next level. And we're going to have an open mind. We'll have an open discussion. It's going to be real. So if y'all got questions, make sure I hit that super chat. Come in, and we're about to get down. My mind, I'm an empty room right now. So let's do this. Let's do
Nice.
this. Ladies and gentlemen, David Weiss.
Thanks for having me, guys. And this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna say some crazy things today, and I'm gonna show you some crazy things. But that's only when I'm talking about the globe, because the globe is crazy. This is the defense of the globe. This is an image that I'm not allowed to take off of Zoom. They give you 3 images, and this is one of them that you can't remove. This is the flat Earth. This is a balloon at 120,000 feet. And you can see a flat, stationary, non-spinning Earth, because the Earth is supposedly spinning 1,000 miles an hour below me. And you can see that the sun is not 93 million miles away. It's close. It's small. How's that? Earth is flat. Thanks, guys.
Wait a minute. No,
night.
it's not over yet.
That's it.
Where did the
That's
image?
it.
My quick question for you: where did the image come from?
This is from a video of a balloon. I'm not sure who set this one up. It might have been a guy by the name of Dan Dimensions. I'm not sure. We got a bunch of people that send up balloons. And, when a balloon goes up into, over 100,000 feet, the Earth is spinning. It's spinning to the east. Okay. It's spinning to the east. Right. That's what they tell us. And this balloon should, if it's up there for like 3 hours, it should be 3,000 miles to the west. Okay. But it doesn't. Half the time, these balloons land east of where they took off. So they go up, the Earth is rotating, and they're outrunning the spin of the Earth. That's insanity. It's absolutely insane. But before we go, let's just hit some of the basics. The people that get triggered when they hear about flat Earth, they're like, flat Earth is the dumbest thing ever, because that's an indoctrinated
Glad
response.
you said it first.
Yeah.
I'm just playing.
No, that's all right. Because because if flat earthers thought flat Earth was what globe earthers think flat earthers think it is, we'd be crazy, because it's insane. Flat Earth is not a disc floating in space. None of this is true. They got this turn up picture. This is from like the Flat Earth Society, right? If you Google Flat Earth, you end up at the Flat Earth Society half the time, and the images from them. That is a controlled disinformation site. And that Obama plugged a half a dozen times during his speeches, right? They want people to go there, because if you go there, you'll laugh at flat Earth. If you Google, what flat Earth, this is the number one picture that comes up. A pancake planet, a pancake Earth with a bunch of ball planets. Nobody believes that. We don't believe that they're all pancakes. We don't believe in planets, and we'll get into that. So if that's not flat Earth, what is flat Earth? And the answer is, it's very simple. Flat Earth is like a pond. A pond is where water accumulates, not at the top of a hill, but in the valley. Water accumulates in the low spot in the land, and the large bodies of water at rest lay flat, provably, testably, measurably flat. And the container for that water is the higher land that surrounds it. The higher land that surrounds it. All of the continents are surrounded by water, but all of the water is surrounded by Antarctica. Antarctica is not an island at the bottom of a ball. It is the land that surrounds the world ocean. We live in the Antarctic basin. Okay? Pretty simple. Questions?
Adam, listen. Yeah. No, there's a super chat came in and someone said, who likes their earth flat?
So
that's what they're glad.
So what was the thing that really got me? I went into flat earth kicking and screaming. I wouldn't look at it. I refused to, but then somebody that I trusted said, Dave, you got to look into this. And I started watching some videos. And I'm like, okay, that's an interesting question. I started researching, and then I kept seeing all of these videos of, boats over the horizon that you can zoom in on them and bring them back again. And things that you could see that should be below the horizon. So I got the Globe Earth calculator, and I looked it up, and that at 10 miles, there should be 66 feet of curvature, 66 feet of curve. And now some globe trolls out there will say, well, no, that's because, at 10 miles away, you have to, the middle is the top and you're both below the curve. So it's only half that amount. That's completely untrue, but I'll give it to them because I don't need it. So at 10 miles, 33 feet of curvature. It's really 66, but I'll say 33. So I bought a $1,000 super zoom camera, tripod, went to my beach where I knew there was a buoy that was about 11 miles off the shore. I zoomed in and could see the buoy, and I could see the surface of the water for miles beyond the buoy, right? And if you look here, as I'm zooming in, you don't see a boat here. And that's because the angular size of the boat is too small, but there it is. So I'm zooming in. A glober would tell you that this boat's far away and it's over the curve. But watch as I zoom out. It's like the boat's going away. It'll disappear from the bottom up. And that's not because of curvature. It's because of an optical effect, right? And then its angular size gets so small, your eye can't resolve it. And then you think it went over the curve, but it didn't. It's right there. And because if it went over the curve, there's no way I could zoom in on it because it's beyond a physical curve. Make sense?
No.
It doesn't make sense?
No, go ahead.
Not yet. We still flying your attention. We still okay.
If I went around this hallway, and
Right.
and you were standing right here, could you zoom in with no matter what size telescope you had? You couldn't zoom in because I'm behind here. So flip this over, make it like that's the curve of the Earth. If I'm below the curve, there's no way you can zoom in and see me. But we can see things too far.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
We can see things that are way, way beyond, right? This camera is at 1 foot. According to Globe Math, the horizon should be 1.2 miles away. This rig is at 9.4 miles away. And not only can we see the whole rig, we can see the water. And if you watch the video of this, you can see the water for dozens of miles beyond it, where there should be hundreds of feet of curvature. We've spoken with submarine operators, and they said that they can use sonar to see another submarine. They're down on the bottom of the ocean. They could use sonar to see another submarine over 100 miles away. Well, there should be a mountain over a mile high between them. And so what does the sonar go up and over and dive down and then bounce and come back? No, sonar goes straight, hits something, and it bounces back. There's no curvature under the ocean. There's no curvature on top of the ocean because ship gunnery guys can put a pencil point laser beam on another boat 100 miles away. There should be 6,600 feet of water between them, but there isn't. There's no curvature. No curvature, no ball.
I see the one part when he's saying that if it was that way.
Yeah, I've heard that before too, though. I've heard a lot of people tell me that, well, you can't see that far because it will be curvature. But see, people don't understand how big the globe is.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? The globe is so big and gigantic. You know what I'm saying? That what happens is that you know what I'm saying, the curvature that you're talking about, there's not a tool made yet that can see that curvature because the earth is too big.
So that is another indoctrinated thing by Bill Nye, the lion guy with the bow tie. He has indoctrinated that into everybody. He say the earth is so big, you're an amoeba on a basketball, you know, all of this nonsense. But it's so big, but we can see ships go over the horizon. Okay, that's what they tell us. You can't have your cake and eat it too, or maybe you can. But that makes no sense. The thing is, when you look, you know, people say, look, the bottom floors of this hotel are missing, right? But if you can see, there's an atmospheric issue going on. All of these balconies are the same height, but you can see they're compressing. This is an optical phenomena versus a physical curve, and it changes daily based on the conditions of the air. You know, the how much humidity is in the air and whatnot. So there's places where we do time lapses and we could see things disappear. Here's a skunk bay. There's no tide here, and if you watch the beach here, the beach disappears, and at times the buildings will disappear. Okay, this is just throughout the day, and it's an optical phenomena. It's not curvature, right? And this is just how our eyes work, looking through the atmosphere. And so a lot of people think, hey, you know, I see curvature. Well, this is how you see. You see the same distance in all directions. So whether it's 10 miles or 50 miles, I don't care. You see the same distance. So if I'm looking forward at 12 o'clock right here, 12 o'clock, I see X distance. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, I see the same distance in all directions. Flip that over, and this is how we see. This is the limit of our vision. This is where the sky meets the land, and that's the limit of your vision. If I zoomed in, I could open it up and see farther, but my eyes can only zoom. Here it is. If I put a line on that, I'll see this curve, right? Because I could see farther because the sky is higher. And then people will say, oh, that's the ball. It's a ball, right? No, that's just how your eyes work.
Let me ask you, we got some questions?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Bring it to the mic.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
So, by you introducing this science, right, to people that the earth is flat, right?
Science, not pseudoscience.
Yeah, science, according to what you say, right? What's the agenda behind it?
Yeah, well, I was hoping to hold that off. The agenda is it's all about control. You think that the elite are trying to control us right now? They've divided us up by countries, by states, by religion, by sexes, by political parties, by sports teams. They're divide because they know if we get together, the power of our minds will free us from their nonsensical rule over us. The only control anyone has over you is the belief in your head. If everybody woke up tomorrow and said, we're done, governments, they're corrupt, they don't mean anything, and we're not going to listen to them, they'd be nothing. They could do nothing because nobody believes it anymore. It's like money. You believe money has value. You're willing to trade me something for a $10 bill or a $100 bill. That's a belief system. The money has no value. So why the lie? There's a couple reasons. And the one I like to look at is they have us in a prison for our mind. And that prison is the globe because there's nothing more to discover. Just like in the Truman Show, when Truman wanted to become an explorer, the teacher goes, there's nothing else to explore, Truman. And that's his whole world in this dome. So they have us in this globe, right? But what if there was other lands beyond the shoreline of Antarctica? So here's Antarctica. And out here, away from, this is where we live, right? Here's the United States. Out here is extra territory, extra terrain, right? Mm-hmm. More land, extra terra. You might call somebody that lives there an extraterrestrial. And this might be the outer space and this might be the inner space. So someone came to visit you, abduct you, probe you, and then they get back in time for dinner, okay? They're not traveling trillions of miles through an infinite swirling, whirling space vacuum, which is insanity. We'll get into that. But there could be more land. There could be other puddles out there. There could be, multiple rings around with extra land. There's a map. This map was found in Hawaii, 10 centuries old, a Japanese map showing all of these other continents. What's up with that? Okay. We've been programmed to think, well, the Greeks figured it out 2,000 years ago. Okay. You know the story of Aristophanes? His sticks and shadows experiment?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was, he's the most famous mathematician in the world, and he discovered with his sticks and shadows experiment that there's no shadow where he was, but his buddy 500 miles away had a shadow. So Aristophanes is here in Greece, his buddy 500 miles away. They say, all of the sun rays are coming in parallel because the sun's so far away. I don't know why anybody would think the sun rays are coming in parallel when no one's ever seen sun rays come in parallel. But they're saying that they come in parallel, so they can do some math. This guy, they measure this angle, they measure the distance, and they do some math and figure out the sphericity of this circle. And it's perfectly good math. The problem is the sun is small and close. Here he is in Said with no shadow. Here's his buddy 500 miles away. You could do the same math and figure out the sphericity of this flat plane. Okay. It's a nonsense experiment. It never happened. It's mind control.
So
and it doesn't prove either because it works on both.
Small that's just up in space and it's floating around.
Say that again?
But it's pushing out all that energy though.
Say, get on the mic a little more. I couldn't hear you.
I said, so you're saying that the sun is something small and that but it's pushing out all that energy. So if the sun is something small and it's floating right over this hemisphere, as you say, then what is it then?
That's a great question. And anything that's above as high as we can reach or beyond the shoreline of Antarctica is speculation. But if you look at the sun,
how's that speculation though? If we're saying that the sun is basically hovering over the earth, like if the sun is basically hovering over the earth, right? And you're in the atmosphere or stratosphere or whatever sphere that you're in, right? And you're looking at it from a globe, and took rocket ships and stuff like that up there. I mean, I think one of the scientific theories that NASA would do will be able to explain to people what is the sun. So what is the sun if it's just this little small thing that's going across the atmosphere that you say?
Well, I believe that it's the sun that we see is not the real sun. It's a focus point of energy coming from outside the firmament. And we can do experiments to show you how that works. But
outside the firmament, so you're saying that the energy that we're receiving is outside this dome that you're talking about.
Do you ever get a magnifying glass as a kid and burn ants? I know you did. Admit it. Okay. Okay. So you get that magnifying glass.
Hey, you did that. I didn't do that.
And you focus. Come on, you did it. All right. And you focus that point of light and makes a little tiny dot. And if you look at it, with adult eyes, it looks like a little sun, right? Yeah. So now if I lifted that magnifying glass a foot up in the air, it's gone. But really that focus point is now in a point in the air. I think that the dome is the focusing lens that points the sun in here. And we'll get into that. And I'll show you some proof of how the light patterns that we see do that. But a moment ago, you referenced NASA. Let me ask you a question. How many times would I have to lie to you and you catch me outright lying before you wouldn't believe anything that I say?
How many times would you have to lie? Just once.
Okay, good. Thank you. We'll just pocket that for now. So this is the actual day and night patterns on the Earth, according to timeanddate.com, as the sun moves through the seasons. So this is June right here. And then this is December right there. So when it changes directions, this is the equinox. But here is a dome, and I got a little light right here. And as I'm moving it, those patterns really match. They do the same kind of light patterns. So that would explain how we have these light patterns. And another thing is, I don't care what tilt the ball is, how fast it's spinning. If you have a single source light, no matter where you have it, and you have a ball, it would always light up exactly half of the ball. No matter what, it would light up half of the ball. But there's times of the year where it doesn't light up half the ball. It lights up more than half, and it lights less than half. Okay? That's impossible on a ball. Impossible.
Then when it's dark over here, and then it's light over in China.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So and anyone can do this experiment. Go into a room with a round table, pitch black room, no light at all, and then get a light and hold it like just over the table, a couple inches, a foot over the table or whatever. It depends on how big the table is and the scale, and you'll see that it will cast a circle of light, kind of just like this, right? And the rest of the table will be pitch black, okay? And the reason that somebody standing in the pitch black area can't see that light is because of the atmospheric density. That atmospheric density, it's really dense down low and it gets thinner and thinner. But when you're looking across that density, it causes an atmospheric ramp of opacity. Like you can only see a certain distance. You can raise up a couple hundred feet, you can see a little farther. You raise up a couple hundred more feet, you can see even farther. And then that deck becomes opaque. For example, this is a famous viewing spot in Aluja, France, where people can look out over the ocean, and Mount Canigou is out here at 175 miles away. According to globe math, from this altitude and this distance, the top of Mount Canigou should be a mile below the curve, the physical curve of the earth. Now, a glober will tell you this is the curve of the earth and you can't see any farther. This is just the horizon is not a physical place. It's just where your eyes can't see anymore. But on 2 times a year, the sun in its journey between the tropics, we'll get into that in a minute, lines up with Mount Canigou and backlights it, because the light that's bouncing off of it is too weak to push through, but the sun's light is much brighter and can push through farther, and it lines it up. Here's the top of Mount Canigou. It should be over a mile below the curve. And this is not a mirage. A glober will tell you, well, the sun and the mountain are long over the curve. They're just refracting up and stopping right at eye level. That's ridiculous. That's silly. Okay. But here it is, blocking the sun. It's right there. But when the sun's not lined up with it or higher in the sky, you can't see it because light doesn't travel forever.
See,
just go in.
Yeah.
Just go in.
You can't, I mean, these are all good hypothetical and, you know what I'm saying, good analysis and different, you know, pictures and stuff like that you're showing us. But see, what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to build an actual working scale model, because it's easy for me to build an actual working scale model and be able to explain to you the different seasons of, you know what I'm saying, winter, spring, fall, and summer. I can show you a working model. They showed us that working model in school. You had the sun right here. You had the globe right here. It was moving around.
I can tell you that the flat earthers are giggling, laughing that you're asking this question because they're waiting for my answer.
Not only does that make a lot of logical sense, it makes no sense. Logical sense because if you add in the gravitational pull of the earth, right, then you get your understanding of how the oceans stay embodied upon the land. So being that you understand the oceans and how they stay embodied upon the land, you can actually use those maps to actually circulate the globe. You see what I'm saying? And
I see what you're saying, and I understand. I understand why you believe.
That's based upon, you know, a regular theory, but that's based upon people that have sailed the ocean and used those maps because those maps work.
Well, they actually use the flat Earth map is the one that's used for navigation. We're going to get over that in a moment, but I hear what you're saying. We're going to take it one thing at a time. Let's talk seasons, okay? Right. And so follow me on this. The reason they tell us that we have seasons is because when we're tilted towards the sun rays come in more direct, and when we're tilted away from the sun rays spread over a bigger area. Is that your understanding of seasons?
Well, the way you've got it, you got to position it more. You don't got it positioned correctly, but yeah.
When we're tilted away, we have our winter. When the top half is tilted towards, we have our summer. That's what they tell us.
Yeah, okay? and according to the distance away from the sun.
So during you guys are in California. So during our northern summer, are we closer or farther to the sun in the heliocentric model?
What do you mean?
So the sun, the Earth's position changes its distance to the sun. During our summer, are we closer or farther from the sun?
We'll be closer, right?
Closer,
nope, we're farther. According to the nonsense that they tell us.
You got to show me the model.
No, I'm telling you the model. Go look it up.
You're telling me the model, but you got to show me a model of actually this is what I like to do for the flat Earth theory and stuff like that. It's like this. It's like, I understand the science and the pictures and everything that you show me. They look beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Especially
what science?
The backdrop.
Yeah.
The different optical illusions you use in the joint. That looks beautiful.
Yeah, this is going on in Australia right now.
Yeah, that looks beautiful. You know, it's gorgeous.
Right.
My thing is that do you have a working scale model?
Yes.
From which I can watch and you can show me your theory.
Yes.
And at the same time, run it the same way Benjamin Banneker ran it, and run it in a clock formation. To
Yes.
the point where I can see it.
Yes. You ready?
I would like to see it.
Okay. First, I need to make sure you understand what your belief in the seasons are. Okay. So, in your belief,
what my belief is?
What's that?
Do you know what my belief is?
Well, if you believe in the heliocentric model, you believe that the tilt of the Earth is the seasons. Okay. Tilted toward when the north is tilted towards the sun, we have our summer, and when it's tilted away, we have our winter. Okay. You were unaware of during our summer, the sun is farther away, and during our winter, when we're tilted away, it's closer. Okay, you're unaware of that. That's your model, not mine. Okay. Okay. The other problem is, you guys are in California where you have nice temperate seasons, but here in Connecticut, everything freezes. There's ice everywhere in the winter, and the summer it's hot. Right now, it's hot. But I can go to the beach in June when the sun is at its closest point to the north, and as soon as it shows up on the horizon, I can feel the heat on my face. You can imagine that. You can test it out yourself. You can feel the heat on your face. Well, that is the most severe angle the sun could be. It's literally skimming across the earth, going through the most atmosphere. And according to the tilt idea, it should be freezing cold, but I can feel the heat on my face. 6 months later.
So what is another question?
Let me finish my point before we go to another question. 6 months later, in December, when the sun at noontime, when the sun is at its highest point, and 3.5 million miles closer, according to the heliocentric model, I can't feel the heat on my face. How do you explain that?
I don't know why you can't feel the heat on your face.
Because I'll tell you why. Because it's farther away, and I'm gonna. We can go to. Let me show you how seasons work. Okay. So this is my app. It's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. And the sun is the sky is a perfect clock, which is a problem in the heliocentric model. But the sun goes around once a day. I'll speed it up.
Okay. Hey, do you believe this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let me show you. Let me show you guys. When you guys, if you wrap your mind around this, you're going to get it. So the sun will lap the moon once every 28 days. So the position of the moon and the phases are related to the sun, and they keep track of the weeks and the months. The sun keeps track of the hours and the days. But if you notice, there's 3 circles on here. The inner yellow circle is the Tropic of Cancer. And on June 21st is when the sun will be over that, and then it'll start migrating outwards. So as you see, let me just slow it down a little bit. As you see, the sun is going around, and it's closer to the inner northern countries. Okay. So we're having our summer. If you follow this yellow line around, it goes right over Miami. It's hot in Miami. It's hot in Southern California in the summer because the sun is high over your head and close. It's higher in the sky because it's over your head. Australia is having their winter. Okay. Because the sun is all the way here in the inner north. Right. So watch, the sun's coming right here. South America, Ecuador is hot. Miami, sun's right over their heads. Southern California, Mexico, it's hot. But Australia is having their winter. So 6 months later, the sun will migrate out to the Tropic of Capricorn, which is that yellow line on the outside. And then we're having our winter because the sun is farther away. It's lower in the sky, and Australia is having their summer. Imagine this. You guys are
turn like that, Joe.
What's that?
I said, what's making the sun turn like that?
These are questions.
How come he not on the same line he was just on?
No, because I just moved it out. If you look at the date, I have it set for November 28th right now. Okay, it spirals out.
Watch.
It spirals in.
Spirals out and it spirals in.
Yeah, 6 months out, 6 months in. So let me give you a real world example. Imagine you guys were sitting 15 feet apart and it's freezing cold. You got the air conditioning cranked up. There's icicles hanging from the ceiling. Okay, and then I come over you, Killah, and I have a nice big heat lamp, and I'm holding it 10 feet over your head. Well, that lamp is directly above you. That heat is coming down on you. You're nice and warm, and it's high in the sky for you. You are 15 feet away, and you're looking at that light. It's lower in the sky. It's farther away, and you can't feel the heat. You can feel a little bit, but not much. And then when I move it back over to you, it's now higher in the sky. Even though I keep it at 10 feet, it looks higher in the
Who's
sky to
moving
you, and Killah, you see it lower in the sky.
Who's moving it? Who's moving
So this is the big question. Who's moving it?
Yes.
This world is intelligently designed. It's not, we didn't evolve from they want you to believe that you evolved from pond scum. They want you to believe this is what you guys believe if you believe in the ball. Nothing exploded.
Nah, not at all.
And
but we're gonna get into that though. I'm gonna break it down to you.
Yeah, so nothing exploded, created everything. All of the rocky balls, because of gravity, turned into rocky planets, and then all of the gases turned into giant gas balls that had more gravity than the other ones, and they left a vacuum in between. A vacuum. How do you have a burning gas ball in a vacuum? Okay, that's a problem.
No, that
but
makes
you
a lot
want
of
to
sense.
is that thing that you're showing
that
clock thing?
Yeah.
What is that?
So this is called the Flatter Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. Let me show you another thing. So I'll turn on the stars. Remember how the sun laps the moon once every 28 days? Well, the stars lap the sun once a year. So right now, the sun is, where are we? So right now, the sun is moving into this zodiac, and in a month, this one will catch up to it, which is the Tropic of Cancer. And then the following month, this one will catch up to it. And so the stars keep track of the seasons and the years. If you go out tonight, look at the stars, mark where they are, whatever time, then wait a year and go out at the same time, same night, every star is in the exact same position. Okay. In a heliocentric beehive galaxy universe, that could never happen. Could never happen. All right.
Disagree.
Yeah. So there's a thing called the 3-body problem, right? So we're told to believe that we have a giant sun, the sun's gravity is holding on to the earth. And then there's another planet and another planet, and another planet. The sun's gravity is holding on to all of them, and they're all going around the sun, and the sun's, just holding on to them. But all of those little planets are holding on to their own moons. Okay. We're corkscrewing through space. All of the planets somehow stay on the same plane, orbiting the same plane around the sun. Right. And they're all curving around, following the sun perfectly like a clock. That's impossible.
That's the heliocentric model you're showing us right there.
I'm showing the heliocentric model. This is what you believe. See, here's the problem with Globers. They don't even know what they believe because they never really looked into it.
No.
Look how ridiculous this looks.
Now I'm going to tell you, let me break that down for you so that you have a proper understanding of why the universe is built like that. See, we are all made the same way the universe is made. Your head is round. Your eyes are round. You see what I'm saying? No. Everything on you is round. When you eat an apple, it's round.
This is Bill Nye again. This is all just you're saying
listen,
that.
I'm gonna break it. Let me finish.
Bananas aren't round.
I let you speak.
Okay.
I let you speak. Apples are round. Watermelons are round. Coconuts are round. Fish are round. Humans are round. Animals are round.
I get around, Tupac.
You know what I'm saying? Everything around us is round. And see, your vision of what the universe is a vision of, well, this is impossible because it's spinning like this. But see, the scientific fact that backs that is when you get a magnet, right? And one magnet has positive and the other magnet has negative. And you put those two magnets together and they attract. So being that scientifically rocks do attract to themselves, and that this core that we live on, is scientifically proven that magnets, rocks actually attract to themselves because they're actually metal. So being that they're metal, they attract to themselves and they perform into a magnetic shape. See what I'm saying? And the universe is round because every big global entity that's around us is specifically speared, meaning that it has a 360-degree angle on it. And the reason why it has a 360-degree angle on it, because 360-degree angle is perfect. You see what I'm saying?
Can I jump in real quick? We need to also think in terms of energy and not matter, because everything exists in the torus field. You know the torus field, right?
Mhm.
It comes out and then it comes in and it comes back around. And then, so our own aura has that same energy field to where it comes out and we are inside an aura.
And that's a circular aura. Am I correct?
Coming in and coming out. Correct. So now the
Yeah.
flat earth model, you don't look at the flat earth part, look at the energy in which it's existing, because the dome is round.
It
And
comes
that
out
is
of the
your
center
energy.
and
Yeah,
wraps
what
around.
What dome are you
Understand the
talking
dome.
about?
The
What
dome above, the firmament, God's firmament, the dome above us, God's king
Is
dome.
it clear?
It's clear, yeah.
Yeah.
And
How you know it's round then?
because it's a dome, it's God's kingdom. It's the dome around us.
I mean,
And
is
there's
it frost? Like, did you see it? How you know it's a dome and not going out?
It's going out pretty big. We don't know how big the dome goes, but he's
we
showing
do know
me a
that
picture
at
of it.
80 degrees south in Antarctica, the dome is at 13,000 feet. It was in the
Look how small the
encyclopedia.
sun is, yo.
What's that?
Mhm.
No, I'm tripping when I'm looking at your visual of how you got the Earth set up. You got the sun on there, and it's just like a little dot. Like, knock
Oh
it
yes,
off,
tell
man.
him the size of the sun.
Yeah. So
So it's been burnt out if it was that small.
So, are
yo.
you guys familiar with the
These
Georgia
thousands of
Guidestones?
years.
Do you know
Yes.
about the Georgia Guidestones?
You guys remember?
No.
So Georgia Guidestones were built in 1981. Besides having like a Stonehenge type monument, besides having the New World Order's marching plans on it to depopulate the earth, there's something very interesting. There's a hole in the center stone, a long, thin hole. And when you look at it, you see, when you look through it, you can see the star Polaris, which is our North Star. You do a time lapse that goes perfectly around. How can we be corkscrewing through space? And for 40 years, that star has never moved from that hole. That's impossible. Okay. This alone
I ain't
proves
even
that
looked
we
through
are
the
not
hole.
moving one bit.
The
Okay.
North Star.
The North Star is through that hole, and we're corkscrewing
So
through
where's the
space,
wind coming
traveling
from then? Where's
billions
wind
of
coming
miles a
from?
year. Billions. And the North Star never moves. Ever.
AD, what's going on? I mean, you explain it. You explain this.
Yeah.
You actually know what he's talking about.
Absolutely, 100%. Because North Star stays in the center. That's the center of the Earth. You have a compass. The compass points to north, which is the center of the Earth. There's no South Pole compass. There's a North Pole compass because it's magnetic.
Who did this to y'all, man? Who brainwashed y'all?
Who gave us the reality?
Yeah.
I feel blessed to know it.
All right, Dave. Let's go.
Real
Let's
quick,
go.
we got a couple super chats. We want to get to real quick. Gandalf Sanders asks, do you feel the recent UFO disclosures have anything to do with the flat Earth?
Yeah, they don't. The one thing is they want us believing in this heliocentric infinite space where UFOs come there because they're gearing us up for the fake alien invasion. Reagan
Yeah,
primed
I
us
agree
for
with
it in
that.
his
I
UN
agree
speech where he
with
said, if only there was a force from outside this world that would unite us all together, we'd forget about our differences. That's coming. Get ready. It's fake. It's nonsense. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay, the next one is, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go do the super chat, and then I wanted to talk about the directions in the magnetic north. Go ahead.
The other one is from Santana. Santana is asking if you can please show the astronaut saying
Santana.
that they
Shout out to
threw away the
Santana.
technology from the moon landing.
Yeah, what's his name? The retarded one.
Yeah.
Whatever he goes, it'll come to me in a second. He goes, we've lost the technology and it's a painful process to build it back again. That's why we haven't gone to the moon. I'll get into NASA in a minute. I'm going to totally destroy NASA. But here's how the flat earth works. You got your magnetic north. Nobody's allowed to go to the North Pole or fly over it. And we believe there's a magnetic mountain there. This compass is always needs to point towards it. So I'm trying to push this compass west, and west is a circle. I have to keep turning. Now I'm going to push it east. So here's east, but I have to keep that needle pointed to the center. East is a circle. Okay. So I could leave, New York and come back around right back to New York again by traveling east. Now, if I try to dead reckon west, so I'm going to dead reckon, I'm pointing it directly west. As soon as I start moving, if I don't correct to the north, I'm now heading south. South is every direction away from the center. Now, billions of people have circumnavigated, circling east or west. Nobody has circumnavigated south. So people go like, what
What's
about
holding the
Amelia
watering on the
Earhart?
side right
Shout
there?
out to Kind Hearts. I
What's that?
remember Carol was telling me something like a traveling I don't know, I forgot the way she put it, but it was something like that.
The flight pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll get into that in a second.
Okay. That
So-
one was cool, but still, all right. So go ahead. Let's go.
Yeah, so I'm looking for my Amelia Earhart path, but Amelia Earhart, circumnavigated the world. She basically just went in a big circle around the center, and so you can go east or west. Nobody has gone south and circumnavigated and popped up around the front again. Is this? Here it is, Amelia Earhart. This is the path that she took. This is circumnavigating. Well, she just went around the block, around the pond. She didn't go around a sphere, a spinning, twirling sphere that, there's no way you could fly over a spinning sphere. That's insanity.
How's that?
Because like if you took off from, you're near the North Pole and you tried to fly to Ecuador. Well, at the North Pole, when you're sitting on the runway, you're only moving a couple miles an hour. But the runway in Ecuador is moving sideways at 1,000 miles an hour. Okay, because at the equator, the Earth spins at 1,000 miles an hour. Okay.
You ever heard of holy geometry?
You mean sacred geometry?
Yeah.
Holy geometry? No, I haven't heard of that.
Sacred geometry. You ever heard it before?
What do you fill me in?
So sacred geometry deals with the science of understanding how all things correlate with each other. So when we used to build our different temples, the temples was built towards what was the most prominent things in our life, which was man and woman and our child and our children. So what we would do is we would look at life the same way we look at ourselves, because we are walking representations of galaxies. You understand that?
That's a cool.
Let me break that down. Let me break that down when I say that. Like, the reason why you got two eyes, right, is because there's a sun and the moon in the sky, and those are the two things that you see.
Cool story, bro.
You got two arms, correct?
Cool story, man.
Two legs, correct?
I like that, Dave. Good
Dude,
one.
you're telling a story. We were all indoctrinated with the story. There's no
facts.
science behind what you're saying. Zero.
Let me finish. There is science.
None.
The science is real simple, because I can tell you how the science is real simple, because it's actual fact, because I have two arms. I have two legs. I have two eyes. That's actual facts. So the actual facts is that, being that I understand holy geometry, right? I understand that the most perfect shape that we use still on this planet to get around this planet is a circle. And I know that the most perfect shape is the shape of an apple, or orange, a watermelon, because the reason why they grow that way.
What about the poor banana?
Because they receive energy from the universe. So being that they receive energy from the universe shapes and molds them into what the universe is, which is perfect circular shape
through a torus field.
So what you're saying has no relation to the science that I'm showing. I mean,
banana would be a half a moon.
Yeah. So let's look at maybe flight paths will help you. Okay. Or actually, better than that is, if you want to prove, I have the
understand what I'm saying.
I do understand what you're saying, but it's just a story. There's no proof. There's no science behind it. So if you want to prove that the Earth is a globe, it's very simple.
Listen to me. When you look at a baby being born, right? When a baby is born, it's in a what? Complete what?
Womb.
It's in a complete womb, which is what? A 360-degree spherical circle, right? Correct?
It's not spherical. It's kind of oblong, but whatever.
No, not whatever. No, it's 360 degrees. I got 4 of them, so I know. So when a baby is born in a complete spherical form. So in the universe we're nothing but walking representations of the universe. So when we see how we're born, you know how everything else is born. Seeds pop to life. Because why? Because they receive the energy from the universe, from the sun, from the moon. That's why they all work on the same line and chain. Because
did you ever read the Bostock Saga?
The moon and the earth and the sun is all born the same way. They all 360-degree spherical circles. Why? Because that's the perfect shape of holy sacred geometry.
How do you know?
There are those circles. Go ahead.
Yeah, how do you know
But,
I mean, how the sun happened? The sun could be born from the earth.
I
You
never
know,
said, I never said I
biblically
know
it
how
says
it
the
happened. I
sun was
just know that
born under a
everything
star.
around
Well,
me
that
is
sounds
born
like it was
somewhere.
born in the north under the North Star because all the other stars move. The North Star never moves, right? So the Bostock Saga talks about all life beginning at the center of the earth, and then the sun could start oscillating outwards and expanding, right? So we could have, you know, life is born here, the sun moves out here, a new sun is born here. It gets really biblical once you start looking at it. So again, you're saying, you're making comparisons. You know, I have two lights in here, so that must mean that the earth is a sphere. Okay. You know, you can make these
It's not
analogies.
just two lights, though. That's what your science is messed up. You think it's
Analogies,
just two lights. It's not just two lights. It's bigger than that.
Let's look at some
He's
other
saying
things.
on a big
Let's look.
scale.
Let's look at some
Yeah.
other things. Like here's
looking at the
a flight
microwave.
route from Taiwan to Los Angeles, and here's Hawaii. And there was an emergency right here, and someone was either having a baby or a heart attack or something, and they had to land a plane. Well, the pilot should have landed in Hawaii or gone on to Los Angeles, but instead he went all the way up to Alaska, thousands of miles out of the way. And the reason for that is because this is what the world really looks like. Taiwan, emergency, Alaska. Hawaii is all the way out here. Okay. This is
What
the
map is
real
that?
route that they were
Facts.
taking. That's the real
Why does it
route
look
that
like
they were
a spider
taking.
web going out too, because that doesn't make no sense to me.
Those
Dave,
those
when
those
did you get
spider
that
webs
map?
are just lines of longitude, and they all go from south to north. Those are south north longitude lines. The circles are east and west. They're latitude lines, and that's how navigation works.
Okay. With that
Right?
map, how do you get to California from New York? With that map,
Right here, right across, bam, right across, straight line. Right. If you look, it's the flight paths in the north are very similar. Excuse me, to on a globe and a flat Earth. But excuse me, if you look at flight paths in the south, here's going from Santiago to Australia. Right. You should just be able to zip over Australia. Right. That would be the quickest route. But instead, they go all the way up here, across America, and then all the way down. And if you want to go to Western Australia, check out this route. They go all the way up to America. They fly all the way across the ocean to Europe. Then they go over to Dubai, and then they go down there. Why would they take that route? And the answer is because the earth is flat. Here we go. Santiago going up across America, Europe, Dubai, Western Africa, Western Australia. It's a straight line. Airplanes fly straight and level over a earth plane. Okay. An airplane traveling at 500 miles per hour would have to, in 1 hour's time, if it didn't nose down, it would be 30 miles higher in the sky. They don't fly around a ball and land upside down on a spinning ball. They fly straight and level over an earth plane.
The ball is too big for them to even think about even trying to do that.
But we have no photos of a curved ocean.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Yeah, none.
Because the Earthling is too big for you to see with the photo, man.
So how do we know it's a ball?
I know a lot of people be thinking NASA, man, they just technologically advanced like that, but the Earth is so
nobody's
big,
thinking
man,
that.
you can't just see like that.
But the ancients, all the ancients, every other civilization knew of the flat Earth.
Yeah, that's where I want to go with Dave.
All right, so let's go there. But before we do that, this is a rocket, not a NASA rocket, because you can tell because they don't cut the footage every 5 seconds showing you a different angle. This is going straight up. It's called the Go Fast rocket. It was in Arizona. It went straight up 73 miles, and all of a sudden it went kerplunk, like into water. It sounded like dropping a stone into water. It went kerplunk, and then it floated. Okay, so while it was floating, and when it turned on its side, you can see across the Earth plane, and you can see the moon. Ready? Here it comes. You can see the moon in a second when it turns on its side. Here it comes, and here's the moon. This dot right here, that's the moon.
Stop.
I can't stop it, but that's the moon. Okay. And we zoomed in on it. It's no question, it's the moon. But the moon was over New Zealand, okay, at that time. So if the Earth was a basketball, that rocket is on, if Arizona was on the top of the basketball, it was a quarter of a millimeter over the basketball, and New Zealand was down here on the bottom of the ball. There's no way it could have seen the moon. There's no possible way. That alone proves that the Earth is flat and stationary.
You got to build a working scale.
Okay. My thing is, okay, if the sun and the moon are both round, why would we be totally opposite of
So
that? Why would we look like the we call them
gotcha.
parents
Good-
or
good
brother
question.
or familyhood?
Yeah. So when you look up in the sky, the first question is, look at the lights in your ceiling and tell me what shape your floor is. And the answer is there's no correlation. The pool balls on a pool table don't mean that the table's round. There's
But
no
the balls in
correlation.
okay, but
But I'm going to show you 4 pictures of the moon right now, and quickly before they get picked up, tell me if it's a sphere or not. Is this one a sphere?
Yes.
Well, it's a half a sphere. Okay. How about this one? Is this one a sphere? Is this one a sphere?
Is that
Or
one
is
a
it
sphere?
flat?
Yes.
It's a sphere?
Uh,
How do you know? It's not a sphere. It's flat. Okay. How about this one? Is this one a sphere?
yes.
You sure?
Uh-huh.
It's a cup. Okay.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right. So what I'm saying is
Nice,
you can
nice.
look up in the sky and say that you know
So
what
you
you
saying
see.
all
All you
that's
doing
flat
is
in the
magic
cup?
tricks. You doing magic tricks.
I'm not doing
now.
magic tricks.
cool.
I'm showing you that
That's cool.
unless you can physically measure something like this. Are these tables the same size and same shape? Are they the same size and same shape?
They
This
look
isn't
like-
a magic trick. It's showing you how your brain and your mind and your eyes work. Okay.
Mhm.
So you can't say that things are round. Like when you look up,
Well,
have you
that's
guys ever
odd.
looked up with your naked eye and seen Mars? I
Yeah.
have. Have you?
Yeah.
Right.
If you have, I've seen it too.
Yeah. And it's brighter than any star in the sky. But we're supposed to believe this dusty, dirty ball that we've seen pictures from the liars at NASA is reflecting light back to Earth brighter than a star when it's not even that bright when you're there. This is what Mars really looks like when you zoom in with today's optics. Our optics have outgrown their lies. Okay. This is Mars.
Looks like it's underwater.
It does look like it's
What?
underwater. It looks like it's energetic. They're all named after gods.
Oh,
Don't
we
ask
getting
me
crazy.
what they
We
are.
going too fast now. We going too crazy. You just said that looked like that was underwater. You said it does look like it's underwater.
It does look like it's underwater, doesn't it?
Let me see.
Here it comes again.
I gotta be honest. No, it just looks like it's just like a ball of fire.
Oh,
Ball
so
of energy, yeah.
whatever it
Ball of
is,
energy.
we don't know what it is. We don't know.
Are you
But
saying
why are
that's
all of the
underwater?
wandering stars,
Just
which
get it
used to
all
be,
out.
now they call it planets, but they used to be wandering stars.
Yeah.
Why are they all named after gods? This is the star Arcturus. Does that look like a burning ball 25 trillion or 200 trillion miles away?
Wow.
The
Looks like-
distances that
like
they give
jelly.
us, we're able to zoom in on these things. Okay. And
Yeah,
the
it looks like
distances they
energy.
tell us, talk about sacred geometry. Take a look at this puppy. All right. This is the
Yeah,
star
That's what
Capella.
it is.
That's all.
Okay.
Wow.
That's the star Capella. You can see this with your naked eye once you, excuse me.
Now you telling me when you see that energy right
With
there,
telescope, though.
that energy to you does not look spherical to you.
Does that look spherical to you?
It does.
Do all of these look spherical to you?
They do.
It's got- Dave gets ready, yo. Dave got a
He's
whole
ready,
bunch of stuff,
man.
yo. I love
He's
it. I love
ready.
it.
Yeah.
Um,
Because
it's
energy,
like pulsating energy. Yeah,
See,
orbs.
see,
Orbs
like,
of-
it's not by mistake, man, that
Mhm.
when we play things like basketball, tennis, you know what I'm saying, soccer, all these different sports that we play, right? They all have spherical shapes. And you know why we use them and like to play that game? Because they're games of energy. And the best way to move your energy through space, we know as a fact, is 360 degrees of spherical.
So listen, I hear what you're saying. Great story, but there's no
That's not a
science
story,
behind
that's
it. It's a
facts.
story.
If I go get a basketball right now and throw it in the hoop, right? And it's gonna go in a 360-degree ring, right? And if I move it through space, right, it's gonna be able to move through space because it's in the perfect shape. It can go any way that I want it to go.
Like
And
an
that's-
atom.
Yeah.
But don't forget-
same exact
Don't forget, the
science.
hoop is not a sphere. We are the hoop.
Yeah.
No, we're talking
The
about
hoop
ball,
is
not
the
hoop.
disc. I know, but we are the hoop. Those are the balls
But
above
the
us.
hoop's not perfect.
We are a flat
The ball
plane.
is what's perfect.
The heavenly bodies
you-
move above us.
So you're calling us the court
We are the court.
and the pool
Yeah.
table instead of, so we're different from the universe. So you're saying that
That's a good
every-
analogy.
everything in the universe
Mhm.
is
In
we're
the
different,
Earth system.
and the earth is flat.
The
We're
Earth
in God's.
system.
We're in God's kingdom. Those
Yeah.
are the heavenly bodies
That's
above
the ego,
us,
that's it.
and
Yeah.
we are to look at God's handiwork.
Yeah.
He says, look at to the stars and look at God's handiwork. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Facts.
And then you've got Genesis. I'm going to get biblical for a second. Genesis 1:6. And God said, let there be a vault between the waters to separate the water
Pulling up verses
from the water.
Yeah,
I'm just throwing up the firmament
I'm
part.
just messing with
The
you.
water.
No, what
I'm
version
just
is
messing
that?
with
That's all the versions. Let there be a space between the waters to separate the waters of the heavens from the waters of the earth. It literally says waters of the heavens. But I know I'm getting deeper. I hope I'm not getting too deep.
No. Because, you know, my you know what I'm saying, it's not even like when he said like it's about, oh, well, it's not based on science and it's not based on fact.
Okay.
It's like, how can it not be based on science and fact when it's based on actuality of being able to prove it into existence? This one thing that showed me like, okay, all these different optical illusions and stuff like that. But where's the working scale model? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm still trying to figure out, like, if the sun is that small, like you say it is, right? With y'all technology and optical science technology that y'all got, y'all should be able to probably see the surface of the sun. You had the optical illusions for that?
Well, it's pretty darn bright, but yeah, we can actually. But the thing is, the sun is its light doesn't go on forever. You know, here's an optical. You're going to call it an optical illusion, but this is the sun inside of the clouds. Clouds below it, above it, in front of it, and behind it. Okay, that's impossible on a heliocentric world. But the thing is, we all see the sun in a position relative to ourselves. Right, wherever we are, that's where we see the sun.
Tell me what is that? If you telling me that the sun is right here inside of our atmosphere, right? And that there's clouds behind the sun, right?
I'm showing you that there are.
So what is that being then? What is that being then? That's what
the guy's name is Robert Forrester. He filmed it with two different cameras.
No. I'm not talking about Robert Forrester.
He's answering Priest's question.
I'm answering Priest's question.
I asked him. Yeah, you said Robert Forrester.
That's his name.
Okay.
Okay.
So let me show you some other sunsets that might help you realize that we're not spinning whatsoever. Here's the sun in Bulgaria on a nice, clear, super dry day. And you can clearly see that we're not falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound, that this light in the sky that we call the sun is just moving across the firmament and it's moving away. It's not going down, it's going away. And due to perspective, we think it's going down. It just goes.
Perspective is that when I look on the horizon and I see half of a sun on the horizon, I know that the other half has disappeared.
Do you? Like the other half of the sun has disappeared? Is the other half of the sun disappeared here?
Yes.
Okay, but watch what happens.
In about an hour and a half after that,
you just said yes. You just said yes. I'm zooming in now and showing you that it's not even near touching the horizon. Okay. It's all optics. Your mind, you can't see this distance. It gets compressed, but our super zoom camera shows you that you can. I'll zoom out again and it looks like it's setting, but it's not. It's an optical effect.
Okay, so let me ask you a question about that optical effect. Since that optical effect happened in that we're not really just seeing all the sun because we don't have the technology to see it, then how come right after the sun goes down past the horizon that I see with my own eyes, everything gets dark?
Because I'll explain why. So you see how these clouds are in the sky here? These clouds are the same height as the clouds that I'm zooming in. They're all at the same height, but they all compress. So you have that, let me explain. You have that compression, and then you have the sun just goes away, and it goes behind that opaque compression. And that's how it looks like it sets. Let me show you an example.
And the sun gets smaller because it's going away.
It gets smaller because it's going away.
On the heliocentric model, the sun should not change shape.
Right. And as Paul McCartney said, the fool on the hill sees the sun going down, but the eyes in his head sees the world spinning round. So here I am. This is my flat earth kitchen. My counter is flat. It's not spherical. This line is level, and I'm viewing this line from a celestial point of view. I'm up at the height of the sun and I'm watching it go straight over. Now, this can be a mountain or the atmospheric deck of opacity, I call it. That this is the atmospheric deck. The sun never goes below it. Now, I got a camera on the other side on the counter from a terrestrial point of view looking up, and we're going to watch it. Now, look at this line. If I showed you this first and said, is this line level or is it going down? You would say it's going down. The sun never goes below that thing, but it is going below it because it's going beyond it. Okay. And now I'm going to zoom in even more. Look at this line. This is a level line. It's going almost straight down, right? And as the sun goes away, this is at eye level because at distance, everything's at eye level. So here's a real sunset. You would think the horizon's here, but I'm zoomed in. Here's the atmospheric deck of opacity. Kind of looks similar, boys. The sun is just going away. Show it again. Here it is. This is not a physical horizon. This is the atmospheric deck of opacity. This is the limit of your vision. And the sun looks like it's setting. And if you didn't zoom in on it, you would think it was setting below the horizon.
Wow.
Right. And here's another one. This one's going to blow you away. I filmed this 7 times already. Super clear day, looking west from the East Coast, so I'm not over the water. It has to be like 32 degrees or colder outside, so there's no humidity in the air. It has to be super clear. And I watched, the drone was up there, and in 5 minutes' time, the sun went down, 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 and if the Earth was spinning, it would just keep going, but it didn't. It went down, 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 and then it stopped, and it sat there for 10 minutes. Now, this is sped up like 2,500%. It never drops down. It just disappears into the soup. This is a perfectly clear day. Watch. It doesn't go below the horizon. It just disappears into the soup because its light can no longer push through the density of the atmosphere. Just like when you're in a large swimming pool, you can't see, even though the water's clear, you can't see the far wall. Atmosphere is the same thing. I'm going forward and backwards here. It doesn't go below. And by the way, this is not the horizon. This is the atmospheric deck of opacity right here.
So it's gone beyond the atmosphere.
It goes beyond it. And my buddies at the beach saw the sun set like that, bottom up, 10 minutes earlier. Okay. And that's because they're looking out over the water about 15 miles away. There's land, and those trees that look like they're at their eye level are really 200 feet over their head. And the sun just went beyond the tree line and set like that. You can hold on to your ball as long as you want, but once you understand that you are at the center of creation, that you're not a random amoeba flying through an infinite space vacuum where an asteroid could take you out at any time, then you realize that nobody has control over you and that you are a divine soul here having an experience.
But you still haven't shown me the shape of this flat Earth. Where's the shape of it?
The shape isn't what matters. We live on this flat plane.
It does matter. It matters a whole lot.
So what do you mean? The shape?
Like, where's your physical representation of what the Earth looks like to me?
I think he wants to see the model again.
There it is.
Nah, that's not. That looks like a clock, man. That looks like a Flavor Flav clock.
I'm showing you that the sky is a perfect clock. You know, if we were in a heliocentric, let me show you something. If we were in a heliocentric,
you didn't answer the question when I asked you. Was that when the sun spears out of out of that line that you drew up, because you showed that on that clock that you just showed, you showed that the sun goes out in 2 lines, right? Mm-hmm. So being that the sun goes out in 2 lines, right? You're saying that this realm that we live in is an intelligent design realm, and that what's happening is that whoever controlling that light that you say that's coming from inside the dome, they're switching it on a different position, and that's what caused the season. That's what you tell me.
It circles around, spirals in and out. It perfectly explains the seasons, and the globe explanation for the seasons is impossible once you look at it.
The sun and the moon. Disagree. Sun and moon are Adam and Eve. We're living in an electromagnetic diode battery into which the sun is positive electric energy and the moon is magnetic energy. Eve.
Could you say that one more time so I'm clear what you're saying?
I'll explain it.
We live in a battery?
We live in a giant battery, electronic diode. Go ahead.
Right. So the sun is the cathode, the moon is the anode, the salt water carries the current, the land is the salt bridge, and it's a battery, okay? And there's free energy here. The earth has a measurable, testable negative charge to it. There's voltage in the air. At 1 meter off the ground, there's 100 volts, and it goes up 100 volts every meter. Okay. There's free energy all here. Tesla proved it. He powered up the world's fairs with free energy. Okay. And so that's also how gravity works, by the way, because I'm sure that's going to come up at one point. The earth has a negative charge. That charge attracts things. It's a weak force. It says, hey, down is this way. Down is this way. Down is not up for Australia. Down is down for everybody. And buoyancy and density sort everything else out. If I drop these balls.
Atoms.
What's that?
Atoms round.
Have you ever seen an atom? I haven't.
You haven't seen an atom?
No one's seen an atom. It's nonsense.
No.
It's nonsense. I mean,
so let me ask you another question.
Go ahead.
What sphere is blood?
What sphere is
You
blood?
talking about blood cells?
Yeah. Are they square?
Yeah, they're square. Mine are square.
And or are they round?
Mine are square.
Your blood cells are square.
Prove me
Blood
wrong.
cells are kind of like circular
Okay.
discs too. They're kind of like they're cells.
He no, what he's saying, everything in the macro world relates to the micro world.
Maybe
It's the same.
everything is round. But our
So if
realm.
everything's round, and what makes the Earth so different?
Well,
Then?
we might live in the flat plane in the middle of the torus field that goes all the way around, and that's where the energy comes from. The thing that they call the Van Allen radiation belts are the energy that's wrapping around us. So this entire thing could be a toroidal sphere, and we're in this dielectric plane in the middle.
So what you're telling me is basically you really don't know.
Well, we're in the middle.
No,
of it
we
too.
don't know. Correct. But where we live, how it works, God, that's the biggest question. We can talk about that all day and speculate and do tests. But
It's not spec. I just told you how it works.
I'm telling you, well, there's no curvature. There's no way you can have high pressure next to no pressure.
So
Let's
the
get into
woman got
NASA.
curves?
Let's get into NASA. You guys ready
Yeah.
for some
Does a
NASA?
woman got curves?
She
What's that?
does, but when she laying down, she flat.
Yeah, that's when she laying down though.
You know what I'm saying? With
When
mountains.
she's spinning and moving in motion, she
Right.
is round.
I'm going to
Yes.
show you guys something. You tell me real or fake. Is this a landing of a rover on Mars?
I don't know.
That look fake as hell.
Real or
Yeah,
fake?
it looks fake.
Who knows?
But yeah, it's real because they're clapping, and soon they'll be hugging. And when they hug, you know it's real. This is what they showed us. Just happened last week. China landed a rover on Mars, right? And you can tell it's real because these two are hugging. That's how you know it's real. Okay. So let's go to NASA. Let's start with SpaceX. Then we'll go to NASA. This is Elon Musk's. I call it this is his rocket that's going to take people to Mars one day. Look at this little launch pad. This thing weighs millions of pounds, right? The thrust would destroy everything below it. But look at this thing. Does that look like a rocket going up? This little flame is lifting this thing. This thing is a helium blimp. It's some
totally agree.
CGI. It's nonsense. This is all nonsense. And watch. Now this thing is going to look at the side view we have. Right now, look how high it is. This is now side view. We have a side view of it, and then watch how high it is. And it's like, how are we getting a side view at this height? Okay.
See, I would.
Wait, hold on. Let me explain why this is going, because I can't
me that-
rewind it. I can't
let
rewind
me
it.
say-
So
let me
watch.
tell you
As
one
this
thing.
thing is falling down, look at the smoke coming off of it. Is this thing moving at all?
You know,
Look
it
at the
look like-
smoke.
It look like
It's
going through
barely
clouds.
moving. Okay. And now watch how it lands. This thing weighs at least 20 tons, probably a lot more. Right? Look how high it is now. And now look at it, side view. Really ridiculous. Now watch. The engines are
Look
going
at
to
that
come on,
ridiculous.
and it's going to flip over and magically land upright right where it took off. Okay.
I believe that's possible.
You believe this is possible?
Oh, most definitely.
Okay. So watch. This is going now. How did they get this camera underneath it? That's interesting. Nice cut. Watch. Two of the engines are going to go out, and it's going to land with this little fire. It's going to land, and watch
And
all the
that's high
CGI
science,
smoke.
man. Hey.
Where does all this smoke come from?
Nah.
Ready? Smoke. Where did that come from,
Elon Musk is a genius, yo.
dude?
He got me on that. He got me on that one.
No. I'm gonna tell you how I know that's true.
Yeah.
I live out here in California, right? So I used to live in this city called San Pedro.
Mhm.
So San Pedro is a major dock where they have a lot of the ships come in from China, Italy, West Africa.
Mhm.
I've actually, went on my phone and typed in and seen that manifest and everything.
Mhm.
So, a lot of times I would go over there around the docks and look at the naval ships and stuff like that they have in San Pedro.
Mhm.
And guess who has set up over there?
NASA.
No,
SpaceX.
SpaceX. And
So what does that mean?
The reason why SpaceX has set up over there is because when they was testing out those rockets, they was using floating barges to do them. And we could actually see the floating barges. And if you go over there in San Pedro, you can actually watch them coming down out of the sky. Now,
You don't get to see
so
this.
that's why I say I've actually seen Elon Musk pull it off.
Show me the video.
Well, if you've seen it, I've never seen it.
Show me the video.
He kind of got me on that one because
Show me the video.
Look, but if you've seen it,
Ev-
okay.
Go watch some of his landings.
I've actually seen it.
The
Oh, you
camera
talking
on the
about-
drone
yeah.
ship always blanks out just before it lands. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. This thing is blowing 20 knots out there. There's 5 to 10 foot waves, and this thing is landing
I'm gonna tell
on
you
this
why you're
barge.
missing a part. I'm gonna tell you where you're missing the whole part at. We just talked earlier about UFOs, and they said the oncoming alien technology that's supposed to be coming, right?
Yeah.
The fake
The fake aliens that's coming in. Go ahead.
why you
So you
think
said
this,
why that couldn't happen? Right?
yeah, so why you think this technology is being created?
Dave,
It's
that's a
all
good
running
question.
in the same bracket. That's what I'm trying to show you.
That's a good question, Dave.
What's the question?
He's saying that that we just finished talking about aliens, and you said they were fake. That they were going to say there'd be a fake invasion of the aliens. So why they couldn't make something look like what you just showed, that they actually did that
Technology.
that technology that you showed.
It's
Well,
all
so
the same thing. It's called hiding in plain sight.
So these guys are clearly hanging from wires. They got these bulky pants on, nice press pants, always shirts buttoned up too high, nice press all the time, different shirts every time. Where are they keeping their wardrobe? And they're clearly hanging from wires and trying to balance, right? This is clear fakery, right? And as you said, if I show you once that they're faking space, here they're playing with a lemon that they just got delivered. You know, they got some fresh fruit, and look, it's called augmented reality. The lemon isn't really there. Okay.
I'm on that one because I'm out on this one. I'm just listening at this point.
So watch carefully. His hand goes right through the lemon. Okay. This is called augmented reality. This isn't real, right? Watch here. This is real. It's got helium in it. This is not real. And now
What's
she's
real?
manipulating it. The ball is a balanced ball with just about air and helium. She's playing with it, and this is not real. Okay, I'll show it again.
It's optical illusion.
It's not an optical illusion. It's called augmented reality. They're playing. They're talking to kids, and now they're playing with the thing. How come they're faking the things that they're floating? The things that are floating, they're faking them, right? It's
But
called
why? Okay.
Yeah, that's
Why?
another question. Like, what's the agenda behind it?
Yeah. So the whole thing stems down to controlling your mind. And there was a bunch of operations that they had. First, when they started exploring Antarctica, they called it Project High Jump, and that's when they checking out the ice wall. Then they discovered the firmament Project the Deep Freeze, sorry, and that's when they discovered the firmament. Then they created NASA. Then they had the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. We discovered more resources on land so big, bigger than the United States, and no one has ever seen before. And then, even though we're all at war, they signed the treaty, and all of these countries sign up saying nobody can explore Antarctica. No one's allowed to go out there because we have to protect the penguins and the ice. But go ahead,
Operation
deforest the
Fistball.
Amazon. What's that?
Yep.
Let me ask you another question. So, what are the satellites then that they put up in space that we see?
Yeah.
How are they able to stay on that sphere?
Have you ever seen a satellite in space?
How they listen? Yeah, I have seen a satellite in space.
You actually haven't. Nobody has. And if
Why
you
not?
Google
I
it,
see satellite. If you go on land, right, and you turn off all the street lights, get all the street lights out of
you
the
see,
way.
I'm
and
with
just go
you.
up
I
there
see
and
those
look,
things
right?
too. How do you know they're satellites?
Because they're beeping.
They're beeping.
Yeah.
You could hear the beep.
No, you can see the beep.
Yeah. So
So
what they are,
I know that that's not an art. I know that's not a.
This is it.
A terrestrial thing. What is
so what it is if this is what you're seeing, there could be other natural phenomena, but NASA is the largest consumer of helium, and as a matter of fact, I believe they own almost all of the helium companies in the world, and they use tons of helium because that's how they launch their rockets and their satelloons. Look up the Google Loon program.
The helium balloons, right? Right.
This is a helium balloon carrying an 8,000-pound satellite. Okay.
So let me ask you a question. The helium balloon, right? What is the spherical shape of it?
Oh, stop with the spherical shape, man. Okay, knock it off. It's
in order to travel through space, you have to have a what?
But he's talking about the satellites right now.
I'm
and
talking
showing
about
that they don't
satellites. I'm not
exist.
talking
I'm just
about.
trying to
I'm
show
showing
they
you
all
the
coexist with each other,
your
though.
belief in that everything has to be spherical because the Earth is spherical.
Even
Cool
the
story,
NASA
bro.
Satellites that they putting up in space is spherical.
Dude,
I
the
mean, look at
satellite's
that.
not
That's
spherical.
a spherical being. Am I
The
correct?
balloon's not spherical. It's kind of
it's
teardropped,
not.
if you ask me.
Oh,
Right?
Well, that's
And
because
some of these
the weight.
balloons are bigger than football stadiums. Okay. There's tens of thousands of these things up there, and they're crashing all over the earth. And people are filming them. All these satellites are full. You hear a news story of satellite fell out of the sky, and they all have balloons attached to them. Right? The idea of a satellite orbiting the earth, if the earth is corkscrewing through space, is actually insanity. Right? We have geostationary satellites. Right? A geostationary satellite is a satellite that stays above the same point of land. The Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour, chasing the sun at 500,000 miles an hour. How does that satellite stay right above the same point of land all the time? When NASA pushes a satellite out of the spaceship, how do they get the speed and the angle perfect?
The planet is perfect. It's a perfect sphere. That's why you can do so much with it, because
it's a perfect sphere.
It's built on a perfect frame.
Well, actually,
it's built on a perfect frame. If you can tap into the numbers, then you too can benefit from the perfect frame.
There's no satellites up there.
There's no satellites in space. Right? And here I'm in the space station.
No, there he is.
I'm in the space station. Right? And I don't get $65 million a day. Okay.
Yeah. Those are good optical illusions.
Thanks to NASA.
Yeah. NASA is again, I'm showing you that NASA's lying.
Tell us what you see up there.
I see nothing. I'm not in space. I'm in Hollywood. All right. How come this guy's head is transparent? Okay. We could see through his head, right? They use the Argos wire system when they do all of their flips. Sometimes they're in a zero-G plane, but when they're doing these spacewalks, if they're not in a pool doing it where we see bubbles, they're hanging from wires. This guy's hanging from wires.
Making a point. I mean, I can't disagree with some of this stuff,
right?
As far as this fake
optical illusion stuff.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I mean, I can't prove it nor disprove it.
Well, I'm proving. I mean, if you believe that NASA, if you believe that,
that's not even really about me believing NASA. It's about me looking at what the universe has showed me, because everything around me is spherical. So why wouldn't I believe that the actual thing that I'm on is spherical?
Can we get by the spherical thing? Let's give it a rest, because it's not going to prove anything. That is your belief. There's no proof behind it.
It's the universe believes.
Point. I'll give you the point. You get the point for that.
Sending up flat Earth balloons and see if they'll float in space. Because if a flat Earth balloon can't float in space, then it's not supposed to be in space, because we live in space.
We can't go past the firmament. We can't go past because they try to shoot rockets up there through Operation Fishbowl.
Right.
And they crashed.
They were hitting things.
They were hitting the dome. They can't go beyond it.
What dome? You said, wait a minute, hold on, bro.
They're hitting the firmament dome. See, they said they lost the technology to go to the moon, yet supposedly we're on Mars.
Wait a minute, you saying there's a dome over us, like the
God's kingdom?
Yes. There's a dome over us.
There's your circular.
Could we hit that dome?
We already did.
The rocket I just showed you hit it.
So
it hit at least I believe the plasma gets thicker and thicker. Then we have a solid dome, and then above the dome is water. The water's above. God separated the waters from the waters. There's water below us, and there's water above us.
There's a lot of glass up there, man, and go stretch all the way across like that.
Yeah. It's an amazing place that we live. Right?
Like
These guys at the end of their little skit where they were hanging from the wires, they all glitched out. Everything that was floating glitched out. Here's one. These guys, while they're talking and flipping their microphone around and flipping their hat around, this guy goes floating by in the background. I zoom in on him, and you could see the wire in the harness. This guy's hanging from a harness. Okay? Just to make it that he was way in the background, but I zoomed in on it. And then, so why would they do that? Why is he hanging by harness? The Globers say, well, it's for safety reasons. What? How would you even hang from a harness in zero gravity? Right? But the other thing is, watch this guy. This guy in the blue, he's flipping his hat around. Just, hey, I'm in space, flipping my hat around. His hat is augmented reality. It's not real. That's not a real hat. And in the script, the guy in the blue is supposed to hand the hat to the guy in the green, and he's supposed to put it away. So they're looking at like monitors, or they have augmented reality contact lenses. And watch, he moves his hand. He thinks he's getting the hat. He takes it and he puts it away. He takes it and he puts it away. And reverse. Watch, he goes, and now the guy's like, oh, wait, no, you didn't take the hat. He made a mistake. And then they pulled this video down, but we downloaded it. Okay. And then you should have heard them. They were screwing up. They were all nervous. They were screwing up their lines. This guy's eyes are darting left and right, trying to, like, he's swallowing and sweating. It's unbelievable how fake this crap is, but people just believe it. This guy, watch, he grabs his wire. He gets tangled and he grabs his wire, grabs it and pulls him over, right? This guy, one of the wires breaks and he falls, right? And he's like, oops, I'm not so good at it. Guy hanging from a harness. These guys are hanging from waist harnesses, and this guy didn't have strong enough stomach muscles to do a flip, okay? This is, if you give it any analysis, you'll see that it's complete and total nonsense, right? Look,
Seems
he's
like
pulling on the wire. Sometimes they get tangled in their wires. It's unreal how bad it is.
The circus is out.
It's ridiculous.
Seems like the National Agency of Space Actors.
Right. Here's one. Chris Hatfield loves playing his guitar in space. These guys are in separate rooms. He's not upside down, but the other guy screws up on where he is and he sticks the microphone right into his neck. It's inside of his neck. Right. And then all of a sudden they realize what they were doing and they stumbled. They're like, oh, and they just kind of pushed through it and pretended it didn't happen. But the microphone was inside of his neck. There's no denying it.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that part.
Here's one. Don Pettit, the astronaut that actually thinks he went to space. He was showing how to drink coffee out of a reused plastic thing that he taped together. Watch what happens to the color. It gets separated. He's on a 0G plane, but the coffee that was in there was CGI and it gets separated. Watch, it gets separated. I'll zoom in. Right? Whether it was coffee and some people say, well, it was really brown tape, whatever it was, it got separated from it because it's all nonsense. It's all bullshit.
There's our tax dollars hard at work.
Right. And you guys saw Elon Musk send his car into space. You remember that?
Oh my God.
He sent his Tesla Roadster into space.
Yeah, the Tesla Roadster.
Yeah. How come the tires didn't explode? How come, where there's not a single logo on here? And how come this photo, watch, with the Earth going in the background, this would be the ultimate poster for every Tesla showroom. It should be on the cover of Scientific America right there. Click, right? It should be on, it wasn't on a single magazine cover. It wasn't in any magazine. There's no postcards. There's no advertisements. There's nothing, because it's so fake. Elon Musk at the press conference said, you can tell it's real because it looks so fake. We'd have better CGI. That's what he said. Okay. Damage control. And then if you believe we went to Mars, this is the only proof that we went to Mars. This is what they showed us. This is what they put in our children's classrooms to watch the day they landed this rover with its stupid helicopter on it, right? They tell us Mars's atmosphere is 1% of what the Earth is. That's like 150,000 feet high here on Earth. Could we fly a helicopter at 150,000 feet? The answer is no. Well, Mars, they say, well, their little helicopter that they have, the blades spin so fast
Dave,
that it can fly on Mars.
All right, you got this. You got this part. All right, you lock this down.
All right, so NASA,
but that doesn't prove that the Earth is flat. That's
you
got this locked down. You got this one.
It's
You
a start.
can close the chapter on this one. You did it. You did your work on
We always want to start with NASA before we get into the flat Earth, because first they have to know about the lies.
Right. So
Have you ever heard a different aspect?
But is it a lie? I mean, you can explain it. Could you explain that being wrong? Because if not, then I'm going to agree with him on this one. Proof that they were actually inside those shuttles and they were flipping around.
You're talking about at NASA?
Yeah, you said you saw it landing, right? You said you actually saw it. Now I can't say that he didn't see it.
Yeah, because out here in California, I mean, and it's just being 100 with you, like where I've seen going down to 110, I've seen missiles and all kind of different rockets being shot over the 110. So, do I know if rockets are real or not? I know for a fact because
they launch them and they curve out and they go right into the ocean. That's where they go. They don't go to space because one, there is no space. But if you watch them, they curve up.
The ocean?
We watch them. They go out over the Bermuda Triangle here and no one's out there. And that's where they crash them. Okay. And they just crash them and sink them in the ocean. Sometimes they're not even real rockets. Here's a launch that is like, I call this the two-pack.
Glass.
I call this check this out. This is
I
I call this the two-pack rocket because this is a hologram, right? This isn't a real rocket. There's no thrust. There's nothing going on. But sometimes, you know, we actually we had pictures on NASA's lawn, and we're looking around on these pictures, and we saw these like weird lights. We're like, what are these big spotlights? And we got a name or a code off of one of them. We looked it up. Holographic projection company. Watch what happens right here. I'll zoom in, right? During the launch, this happened. They pulled this. We downloaded it already. The top half of the rocket disappeared. This is a hologram.
No, I see it.
This is a hologram. Okay? This is a hologram.
But I still see the top of it.
Yeah, well,
Done.
it's half projected there. Well, where's I mean, it's supposed to be a solid object. It's not supposed to do that. Okay? Again, you know,
All right. Well, you said it hit the glass. Explain that.
No,
Who
that one
built
didn't
this
hit
glass around it? No, AD said we in the dome, and that is.
I didn't say glass, but it hit the dome.
It
It's
hit
not
the
Wait,
dome.
what's the
glass.
dome made out of?
we don't
No,
know.
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. But
That's God's firmament.
yeah. And how
Keep
the
saying
the
it, you
sun
can't get
moves
past
is God moves the sun, you know?
We
It's
have a
not
couple
a-
super chats. Go ahead.
Go ahead, hit the super chats.
Infinite Plane Society asks, do you think the flat Earth might be infinite?
Nice question.
It could be just like, you know, we have infinite space. Who knows what's beyond Antarctica? It could go. The Earth plane could go on for farther than we could imagine. And what if there was other ponds? What if there was millions or billions of other ponds? Okay, that
Other
makes more
Earths.
sense than planets. I mean,
Mhm.
we can scientifically prove that you couldn't see a star, right? If the sun was just a couple times farther than it is, it would be too small to see, right? We can the sizes that they tell us things are, there's no way we can see them. Polaris, we did the math. Being extra generous, if it was 6 light hours away, just 6 light hours, it would be impossible to see. But they tell us it's 433 light years away. The number of trillions of miles that is incomprehensible, right? And you guys, check this out. Killah, how long do you think 1 trillion seconds is? I'm asking you this just so you can understand how big a trillion is. How long is 1 trillion seconds?
In travel time, in distance,
No, just in
or
time. How long is 1 trillion seconds? How many days?
like almost 1 trillion seconds.
1 trillion
Travel,
seconds.
You talking about distance or
No.
just
I'm just talking
count?
about how big a trillion is. How long, not in distance, in time, is 1 trillion seconds? Is it
1 trillion
week?
seconds.
how 1 trillion seconds? How long? How many days is it? How many years is it? How long would you say it is? Take a guess.
See,
You'll be
that's what
wrong. What?
Well, I don't know what you 1 trillion seconds to do what? Blink?
No. I'm not. I'm asking you, how much time is 1 trillion seconds?
I don't know. Traveling?
No,
I don't
not.
know. I can't
I guess
answer that.
I'm just trying to show you how big a trillion is. A trillion seconds is 31,000 years. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. For what though? For
Yeah,
like
but
the Earth?
I'm
What?
explaining how big a trillion is, and the closest star is 25 trillion miles away. So if you were traveling 25 miles a second, it would take you 31,000 years to get there. Okay, these distances are impossible. You
How
can't
that's
see
impossible.
things
Time
those
is infinite,
sizes.
so how's 31,000
What about thought?
years? Is
Mm.
how is that anything that's to be like, oh, that can't happen? Like, nah, when you live in a perfect environment where everything is spherical, then you know what I'm saying, 31,000 years is not really, it's still just time.
How can you see it? The size, just when it's crossing our plane here, the size gets smaller and smaller. Our sun
Like, I give
is the
you an
size of a
example.
quarter held at arm's length.
Uh,
And that's only 8 light minutes away, right?
Let me-
You
let
change
me-
it to a light hour, you couldn't see it.
let me give you an example. If I take a rock, right, and it say if the rock is square, right, and I put it in a river stream, right, which is symbolic to the universe, right. If I put that rock in that river stream, right, over a period of time, what shape is that rock going to turn into?
They turn into all different shapes.
No. It's going to only turn into one shape, and that's spherical. That's why you got pond rocks. If you go to the river right now, that's what I'm talking about doing with
They're
actual science.
flat. A lot of
If
them
I
are
go
flat.
to
They're
an actual
ovals. I
river
don't see
right
many.
now, right?
I've actually only
They're
seen a
all
spherical rock
spherical
once.
rocks. They all are shaped
Yeah.
smooth.
Again, if that's all you have, I concede the Earth is a spinning globe. You're flying through an infinite universe in a vacuum, in a pressurized system next to a vacuum, and that we evolved from pond scum. It has to be the truth because there's things that are round, like bananas and strawberries and string beans and eggplants.
No, but bananas are half a moon.
At the end of the day, we can't prove the Earth is a ball. Proving flat Earth is easy because we can see it. But proving the Earth is a spinning ball, like they say, science can't prove it. Science can't prove gravity.
How
Science
can they not prove that?
They haven't done it. You got to ask science that because they're unable to prove that we're spinning.
Guys, did I do a good job with this? Because it took me a little while to do it. Does this look real? I mean, besides that little glitch here, let me start over. Besides the little glitch, did I do a good job on this Earthrise from the moon? Right, I had a little issue right here, but doesn't that look real? Does it not look real, or does it look real? Did I do a good job?
It does not look real.
No,
Killah?
it looked like a pamphlet.
Yeah, this is what they're showing us is real. This is from the Japanese Space Agency. This is the Earthrise, famous video. Okay, this is supposed to be real. This is ridiculous, right? It's insanity for that anybody can believe any of this is real. Here, let me ask you a question. How come we know this is a space station? Obviously, how come we don't see any land?
Oh, I guess we're looking at clouds, if I wouldn't be mistaken.
Okay, or maybe this isn't from the space station, it's from our front yard, and we just turned it upside down and pulled a solar panel over it. I'm just showing you how easy, with zero budget, NASA has $65 million a day, with zero budget, we can fool you, okay? Again, there's zero proof of the globe. There's lots of things that work on both a globe Earth and a flat Earth, but there's nothing that only works on a globe Earth.
Pause it right there. Pause it. Pause.
I can't pause that. What do you need?
Pause it. All right. The front of that missile, right? What does it look like?
A cigar.
Like that's why I'm talking about holy geometry, right? The front of that missile looks like the front of a woman's breast. Correct?
Is that a missile?
Am I right? Holy geometry.
You talking about breasts?
No, but just being real though.
So let me ask you a question: Is this
to make technology? You see what I'm saying? We copy from nature to make technology. So when we copy and make these different things, we make them in certain objects because it has to coincide with the thing that we're living on. You get it? You can't.
Dude, there's only so many shapes that you can make things.
Come on, y'all. Hit that.
Why is that though?
We almost at 700, yo. Come on, y'all. Come on in.
Yeah.
Make sure you hit that super chat.
We got another super chat here from Dominic Green asking, can you explain the lunar eclipse not always happening at midnight and different stars constellation on different hemispheres?
Right. Well, the different stars constellation is very easy. Imagine that we're just in a room and we have lights in the ceiling. Those are the stars. Lights are, the ceilings are 10 feet high. Now expand that room to 10 miles wide and I'll send one of you 5 miles away. Well, I couldn't see you because the ceiling and the floor are going to merge. And when we both look up, we're going to be looking up at completely different lights. One of you is in the outer southern part of that room and the other person is in the inner northern part of that room. And that's why we see different stars, because they're close. They're right over our head. If you were, you couldn't see them.
Okay. We got another one here from See Truth. You claim outer space does not exist, so how do you explain your inner space? The universe favors spheres for large masses due to gravity. Seems like
gravity's never been proven. It's a theory. They say it's a theory, and they have to make up 96% of it as dark matter and dark energy. Otherwise, the equation doesn't work at all. And they admit that it's just a theory, and every test they've ever done to prove it has failed.
Okay, we're going to do a gravitational test right now. Okay,
you're going to drop something. That's Neil deGrasse Tyson. That's buoyancy and density. This is more dense than the air. Boom, it goes down. Mm-hmm. It's more dense than the air. Do I have to show you again? The reason it goes down is because the Earth has a negative charge to it, and it's more dense. So the Earth says down is this way, and it goes down. Buoyancy and density.
Down is that way.
Yeah, because the Earth has a negative charge. It does not move, right? you can defy gravity with what? An anti-gravity device? No, you defy gravity with by just changing the electric field, and things will float up again, right? If where I'm trying to find something as I talk.
So
but
you're saying if you posit negative, if the Earth is positive, if you
Earth is negative, the dome is positive.
The dome is positive.
Plus
the dome
and
is
minus.
positive. The Earth is negative. We live in this free energy system.
Well, how come the dome haven't crashed to the Earth yet then?
Because it's rock solid, man. It's made. It's. They're
That's
trying to
what it is.
blow a hole in it. They've been trying.
So what's those asteroid things that be coming up out of space then? And
You ever see one?
Yeah, I have.
Where have you seen one on from a dash cam in Russia where something's coming in at a steep angle?
I'm talking about out in the wilderness. I've seen asteroids and meteorites coming. I've seen one of the biggest meteorites that ever happened back in like 95, 94. And I was in Northridge, California.
You saw it hit.
I saw it.
Did you get any pictures?
No, I've actually seen it. I've seen meteorites come from outer space into this realm.
Do you have any pictures?
Yeah, where's crystals from, right? Certain crystals and stones.
Yeah. So check this out. We put a negative charge on this, and it floats up away from the Earth because its negative charge is stronger than the Earth's negative charge. Right?
I could do that. You could do that with magnets.
It's not. This isn't magnetism. This is electricity.
I mean, but magnetism and electricity is the same thing.
They're not the same thing. They're brother and sister, but they're not the same thing. They go together, but they're not the same thing.
They're like opposites.
Yeah.
Electricity.
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You work. Listen, this brother worked with batteries.
Yeah,
right?
make batteries from scratch.
Nice.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like magnetism, right? I could take one magnet, right? Neodymium magnet, put it down, build a platform for it, and take another magnet, and it'll naturally do that because the negative and positive. But you have to be both negative in order for them to repel. And being that when they repel each other, that's how the science of levitation is. All you do is just increase the field and it'll increase it more. But you know what he's saying, he's talking.
So why is this going up? Why is this going up?
That.
Why is this going up?
I don't know. It looked like you got some cables on there, like the what's the name joint you had on the
So you think so I'm faking it.
Joint.
So I must be faking it. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I see the cables at the top.
No, there's
definitely some. There's cables, all right.
Go just Google electric floating tinfoil triangle. There's a million videos, and you can do it yourself. Don't believe anything I'm showing you. Verify it yourself.
You could do this with magnets too. Yeah. I saw.
Well, magnets can repel each other, absolutely, right? But you can't have a molten magnetic core giving us our North Pole. That's ridiculous because you can't have a molten magnet. Magnets hit the Curie point before they melt, and there's no magnet. They lose their magnetism 100%.
Yeah, I'm still tripping on how small the sun is. I'm trying to figure like what is it since you say.
I have to say this, Dave. You have to be the best researcher of this.
I'm not the best. I'm out there with. Let me show you. So here's the thing, guys.
I got to give it to him, yo. He has. I mean, this cat. I never ran into anybody that has this much information on this type of stuff.
So check this out. You have to believe, again, we've already destroyed NASA, that they went to the moon in this. Look at this thing. It's made from tinfoil, paper mache, curtain rods, not even duct tape. They use like masking tape. Dumbest thing ever, right?
Well, see, when you study gold, right? And you understand its interaction with the sun, then you understand why they put those golden sheets around it, because the moon doesn't have the same atmospheric, being that the Earth does. The Earth has a different atmospheric being on it because it has plants, it has trees that give off oxygen, you have ocean, so you have a lot of life that's on the Earth. So it's just like, say for instance, I give you an example. You ever went somewhere like in the swamp late at night, like Pensacola, Florida? You go to Pensacola, Florida, you go to the swamp, and there's so much life in that area, in those jungles, that what happens is it's so much oxygen that's being produced that it creates a fog inside of the swamp. You see what I'm saying? So just imagine, right? Imagine you got a rock that's going, say for instance, 10,000 miles per hour floating through space, right? Soon as it hits the Earth's atmosphere with all that oxygen, what happens is it connects and makes a flame. That's why when you look up in the sky and you see a meteorite and it hits the Earth atmosphere, it automatically catches fire, because if I want to make a fire, right, I take a match, an abrasive surface, and I run it across it. You see what I'm saying? That's how you actually create fire. So if I want to create fire, I have to take a match with an electrolyte on the top of it, run it across a hot surface or rugged surface, and it's going to spark and create a fire. That's an actual fact. So being that the scientists understand that we live in, like you said, a compact atmospheric density place, you understand why they recreate things like that in order to take it in outer space,
my
because it
question
has
is,
to be
do you
wrapped in
believe
gold.
that this is a rocket ship that's going to take off and connect with the lunar orbiter?
Well, if you study the way that NASA
I'm
set
asking
that
you a
up, that
question.
wasn't
Do
the
you
rocket
believe this
ship.
is a rocket ship that's going to take off and connect with the orbiter?
That's not a rocket ship.
Yes, it is. They're going to get in this thing. It's going to take off and connect with their other buddy
All right,
that's
Dave,
orbiting
what's
the
your
moon.
proof? What's your proof that's a rocket? Nah, gee. But yo, Dave, what's your proof that is a rocket ship?
This is NASA's rocket ship that they landed on. This is the lunar lander. This thing took off and connected with the orbiter.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Is the surface of the moon, is the gravitational field of the moon the same as the Earth? Do you know that?
I don't believe in gravity. I don't believe that at all. You believe that where this guy is standing is bright enough so you can read by it on Earth. The light bouncing off of this guy, this surface of the moon here, is going back to Earth, so you see it as bright as that moon on the left. That's what you believe. You believe that the light gets brighter as it travels 238,000 miles to Earth, so bright that you can read by it. Okay, that's ridiculous. That's insanity to believe that. But you're just defending a belief that you have, and
that's not actually how I believe that that light is actually traveled to the.
How does the light get back to Earth and the moon look as bright as it does, where it casts shadows on the ground with its brightness? How does that happen?
Like I just told you that when you look at the surface of our Earth, right? When the beam of light that you see that's coming in is the sun, that's an actual fireball. And what happened is that the sun itself is vibrating energy, because it's a.
I'm asking you about the moonlight.
So what happened is,
I'm asking you about the moonlight.
I understand. Let me finish. So what happened is that as the sun vibrates, the energy that comes off of the sun, the radiation energy that comes off of the sun, when it hits the Earth's atmosphere, it ignites and creates light. That's why when you go in space, it's completely dark. The only light that you see is when the light actually hits the atmosphere of the Earth and it ignites. And that's why it feels like a fire beaming down upon us. But you don't see that same fire in space because space is dark. So what happened is that when the energy from the sun hits the Earth, it ignites and causes that. And that's why you see the reflection off of the moon, because the moon does not have the same atmosphere that we have. It has to reflect that light.
So the moon, where this guy is standing, is reflecting light. That brightness that you see near his feet is going back to Earth, and we can see it so bright that it's casting shadows on the ground and we can read by it. That's what you believe.
I mean, that's a picture, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know what I'm talking about because it makes no sense. You believe that this moon right here is bright enough to read by 238,000 miles away. That's what you believe. You believe that this foot made that footprint. You believe that foot.
Okay.
But see, you got to understand.
Made that footprint.
You're looking at the science, but you're not really understanding why NASA did what it did. See, the thing is that the moon is throughout history has been a spiritual a spiritual Masonic symbol for a lot of nations, because we're on the sun and the moon clock. So being that we're on the sun and the moon clock, the reason why a certain people chose to start a moon space program is because they was going to go see a God that they believed in. And it really didn't have nothing to do with NASA. It was something to do with something that had to do with Masonic symbolism. And that's why the nations was fighting against each other, because they wanted to be the first ones to go see their god, the moon.
So these three here
Sin.
just got back from Earth. This is
Sin.
the lander that took off. There's two guys in here connecting, and these guys just got back from the moon. They're the first men back from the moon. They can't even look at the audience. They couldn't lift up their heads. They were being forced to lie, and you can read it all over their face. It's ridiculous. And if you just got back from the moon, you're the first guys. You flew to the moon. You did all your stuff up there. You played golf. You drove your car around. And then you come back, and this is look at them. These guys can't even look at the audience. They're being forced to lie. Right? You'd be so excited, right? And by the way, the rocket that you took off from the moon, that homeless tweaker shelter that I just showed you, was never tested on Earth. Never. These guys didn't go anywhere. Nobody went to the moon. And you're right, though. What's that?
And they're all Masons.
Yeah, and they're all Masons. It is
That's
a
what I'm
Masonic
saying,
thing, this whole moon thing.
That it's different than just you talking about they just want to go to the moon and they putting up little CGI effects and stuff like that. Like, no, it's on a different level, bro. It's not just about proving that we have science and things like that. This is a whole Masonic ritual that's been going on since this country started. So this was put into place so that it makes the government seem over intelligent than the people.
Okay, now that is true. Now you
see what I'm saying?
There's nothing wrong with what you just said there, but keep in mind that's part of the lies. They're feeding us these lies on purpose so that they maintain control.
I would never doubt that they did not have the technology to go there, because I know that anything that man put his mind to, he can create and do.
That's very optimistic, but you have to understand that the matrix we are in now, they're willing to lie in your face to that level.
Hey, Killah,
that's how deep. I don't want to believe it either.
Yeah, Killah. So check this out. Yeah. This is the space station, and it was never assembled on Earth. It was made. The sections were made, and then they were flown into space. Some sections were made by different countries. They were never tested. They never built it on Earth, and they just assembled it in space. This would be the most filmed event in history. And there's not a single photo or video of it being built. And the different modules from the different countries, they had different doors on them. So they had to come up with a third company to make an adapter. Okay. And these things, they just assembled it in space. There's not a single photo or video of it being assembled. It's anyone that's into structural engineering, this is an impossible structure.
You ever seen a battleship before?
Yeah, and on a battleship and on a submarine, they have a crew of 30 to 100 people that are just doing maintenance. There's nobody doing maintenance on this thing.
If they can build a battleship, bro, I would not disbelieve that they could build a spaceship.
Yeah, but don't you think you would test it on Earth first before you go into space and find out there's a problem?
I mean, yeah, and of course they tested on Earth.
No, they didn't test it on Earth. They never assembled it here.
How do you know that?
Because they admit it.
Okay, let's hear that.
I don't have the video. Go look it up. Let me show you something. There's so much information out there, but they're hiding it from you. They don't want you to see it.
We agree on that. We all agree on that.
So let me just show you how you can get the information. Hit the question mark on the app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, and all of your questions. What about eclipses? What about gravity? What about seasons? If I hit what about seasons, up comes a playlist that Google will not serve you. These are videos that will show you exactly what's going on. These are stuff that they're hiding from you.
Where can they get this app? Where can they get this app?
I'll tell you in a second. It's on Google Play and Apple iStore. For Google, on Android, you have to have 8.0 operating system or higher, and iPhone 6 or better. It has all sorts of Flat Earth books on it, all sorts of tons of information. And every day, I'm offering 2 Bitcoins for anybody that takes the Flat Earth App Challenge. Every day on the bottom left, there's a new featured video. You tap that, up comes a video, and watch the video each day for 2 weeks. And then at the end of that 2 weeks, if you think the Earth is flat, hit me up with the proof, and I'll give you 2 Bitcoins. All right?
So if somebody can prove the Earth is a spinning ball, you will give them 2 Bitcoins.
2 Bitcoins. All you need, and I only want 1 proof. That's all you got to do. And if you want to say photos of Earth, don't send me a photo without, show me which photo.
No,
Right?
no one can do it, yo.
Damn.
Nobody can do it.
Especially with you.
Check this
Nobody's
out.
gonna be able to do that with
Check
you.
this out.
Correct.
This
No
is
matter
this
what
is
they
the
show you,
photo
like,
from
nah, that's
NASA,
not right.
and we can actually verify without looking by driving across Mexico and Baja, and we can get 934 miles. They tell us this is the diameter of the Earth, a straight line through the Earth. I should be able to fit 8.5 of those in between these two lines. This shows you that they suck at making paintings. They can't make anything realistic. This is what they want you to believe. This is nonsense. None of it makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. And what are the odds? Just before the moon landing, you have a NASA administrator, you have a NASA astronaut, you have a sci-fi author, you have a movie director, and senior administrator of NASA all together in Hollywood. What are the odds? What are the odds of that?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's,
And let me ask you a question.
They
again.
be lying, man. They be lying. You got me on that. Well, that part we all agree.
Yeah,
I agree
That's
with
not
you
even-
totally on that. I
Yeah.
mean that they've been
So then
tricking
you got
us
to
for
unwind
years.
it. Why would they go to that length? Right? All of these countries, they're all in it together. The division of countries is fake, right? We're never at
Oh, yeah, I
war
agree
with
that
Russia.
too.
It's nonsense, right? It's all to build the military industrial complex.
Dude, this chat room is on fire. I've never seen the chat fly this fast.
Yeah, it's off the hook, man. Shout out to
Holy
the chat
moly.
room is going in, man. Someone gave me what?
We have the-
we have seven.
We have the
27.
most concurrent viewers we've ever had in this whole podcast right now. It's 727 people watching.
Yeah, that's what
right now.
happens when you have Flat Earth Dave on. Anybody that's listening that has a podcast that has an audience that needs to be straightened out on the shape of the Earth, invite me on. info@theflatearthpodcast.com. Make sure you send me your link to your podcast so I can see what it is before I say yes. But I'm
And if-
up for it. I'm up for
And
it.
if they can prove the Earth is a spinning globe, you're going to
Two
give them 2
Bitcoins.
Bitcoins, which is around $75,000
Good.
USD, just for those at home.
Good luck.
It's
You
going to
won't
be
do
a
it.
lot more than that soon. So
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you put up
So-
3,
we
man,
can
you
talk
won't
about
do
that.
it.
Hey,
Hey,
so
listen.
check this out,
Right.
Killah. If you
Right.
wanted to prove the Earth is flat, it's very, 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 and prove the Earth is a globe, it's very simple. Here's Antarctica. It's 13,000 miles around. All we would have to do, this is a huge debate that's going on. They could put it to rest in one day. You get 2 airplanes, you fly them to the base over here in Antarctica, you refuel them. Then you get people, you get flat earthers, you get verified people from both camps on both planes. One plane goes around the coast this way, and one plane goes around the coast this way. Okay. And you just keep the coast in view the whole time. About 14 hours later, because they go about 7,000 miles at 500 miles an hour. That's 14 hours. That both planes would meet over here, but it's never been done. They won't do it because they can't do it, because the last person to try to go around the world like that did it in a boat with Captain Cook, and he went over 60,000 miles, not 13,000 around Antarctica. He went around the shoreline and it went over 60,000 miles. The equator is only 24,000 miles. 24,000? Yeah, 24,000, right.
The
24,000.
equator is only 24,000 miles.
Yeah. So how could Antarctica be 60,000 miles around unless the Earth was flat and it's the shoreline of our world pond?
Wow.
So
Okay.
has anybody ever been there and looked and be like, look, there's nothing.
So
over there.
Antarctica, it's off limits. If you want to go to Antarctica, you can. There's like 15 companies, all owned by the same company, that charge you $10,000 to $50,000 or even higher. I don't even think you can go for $10,000. And they take you on a boat. You barely get off the boat. They'll show you some penguins. They'll show you some ice. They show you the ceremonial South Pole if you're lucky, and then they kick you out. Nobody gets to explore the outer space in Antarctica. Right?
Who's there? Who's there?
Listen, we're talking about years and years. I'm talking about all the way back from Kemet to all the way back to Sumeria. You mean to tell me that no one's ever traveled
Across
exploring this
Antarctica?
entire planet? Across
Nobody.
Antarctica.
Nobody.
Or
So
even
check,
they discovered this.
check this out.
But then we got Christopher Columbus. saying
What
that-
you can't do, you can't circumnavigate you can circumnavigate east and west, as they showed you earlier. But on a flat Earth, you can't circumnavigate south to north, right? Nobody's ever done it. So this guy called the ZQ pilot, he was going to do the first circumpolar navigation, and you can actually track him. He went from the North Pole to Alaska to where you guys are. I believe he stopped in Hawaii, wherever the Philippines, wherever these are. Here, they went to Santiago. Then he went to the South Pole, And he said the weather was too bad. So he turned around and came back, went up to Brazil, over to New York, and then up to the North Pole. And we're like, okay, well, he didn't do it. Well, Guinness Book gave him the world record for southern circumnavigation. Okay. That's like me saying my road is a straight road. And I say, it's really a sphere. I'm going to go that way and I'm going to pop up over there. But instead of going that way and then all of a sudden showing up over there, I go that way. I touch the goalpost. I turn around. I go over there. I touch the other end. I go, look, it's a sphere. This is what he did. This is the trip on a flat earth. He went, he touched the goalpost. He turned around. He came back. That's not circumnavigation. He took a nice little flight around the lake. Airplanes fly straight and level over a flat earth plane. FAA manuals say they treat the earth as a flat, non-rotating plane. CIA documents, there's hundreds of documents now that we found that say they treat the earth as, for all models, they treat the earth as a flat, non-rotating plane. Why the heck would they say that if the earth is a globe? Why do they call it sea level and not sea curve? Why do they call it airplane and not air globe? Okay. Check this out. This one might get you. Ready?
Real quick, Priest wants to point out something in the chat. Did you want us to say this one?
Oh, yeah. Somebody said Kemet knew that the Earth was a stationary plane with a dome. They call it dome nut. Is that even true? Because when you see the hieroglyph,
Yeah,
who
that
is
don't make no sense.
Yeah, you have to explain that because people just say things, but with nothing to back it up. I mean, at least Dave got backup. He got information up there. Just don't say stuff just to say it. Have some backup, because if you're going to speak on ancient Kemet, if you're going to speak on those things,
be right. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're gonna go through hieroglyphs, and there are pictures of circles. And I want you to explain this too.
Facts.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a second. So imagine this: the center here is the Arctic, right? You see where my mouse is in the center? It's the Arctic. Now, if you look at the sun, because it's all about the sun is arcing around you. Can you agree with that? It's arcing around you, right? Now, if I'm out here in the Antarctic, what's the sun doing? Is it arcing around me, or is it antarcing away from me? Antarctic, Arctic. The words are right there. The sun antarcs away from me in the Antarctic, and it circles around me. It arcs around me in the Arctic, arcing around me, antarcing away from me, right? Extraterrestrials, extra territory, right? So, by the way, my app in Google Play Store, the Flat Earth Society people, they call themselves Ron Media or something like that. They have a knockoff of my app. I believe it's free. Feel free to get it, but don't send me an email telling me my app sucks, because my app is the highest rate app in the App Store and the Google Play Store. It's $2.99, and that's it. You own it forever. You can subscribe, but you don't have to. There's no ads. There's one pop-up. You exit out away, and it goes away, and that's it. Okay. If you want to subscribe, feel free, but you don't have to. It's like, it's $3 and you have it for the rest of your life. Just read the reviews and you'll see.
Yeah. Shout out. AD is back. All right. So did the ancient worlds believe that the earth was flat? Yes or no?
100%. And I won't even say ancient. I would say recent. Okay. All the way up to the 1920s, right? If you look back at all the civilizations before us, they all had a flat earth cosmology, all of them, until the liars at NASA came with this ball. So we were told we've been known the earth is a globe forever. I was interviewing in February of 2020 a woman, 102 years old, about the World's Fairs, because she had been to the World's Fairs. And while I was talking to her, she had such a great memory. She was telling me about her 5th birthday party. I said, where'd you go to school? She told me Hamden, Connecticut, name of the school, teachers, kids in her class. I said, what did they teach you in science class about the earth? And she said, they taught me the earth was flat. Wow. Right? And so that's in Connecticut public schools, not a religious school or anything. We found a woman in Croatia in the 1930s. She said all the schools taught flat earth. All of them. So we started looking on microfilm. We found in the New York Journal, which is now the New York Times, in 1900, in April, I think it was April 1900, article about teachers being persecuted for trying to teach the heliocentric ball model and threatened to be put in jail for trying to teach it. This was in the 1920s. here in America, right? There's flat Earth is everywhere. They just did a survey not that long ago, maybe a year ago, in Brazil, and like 7% of the population thinks the Earth is flat. 3% are questioning it. Well, that 7% equals 11 million people, and another 4.5 million people are questioning the ball. So they're flat earthers are just not ready to admit it. There's flat earthers everywhere, but people are just, you know, lots of pilots know. All of the Southern pilots, like the Qantas pilots, they know, but they can't talk about it openly because they lose their job. Everyone just needs their job because they have to get by in this world. But they talk about it among themselves. You can ask a pilot, you know, next time you're on a plane, not a little plane, a guy's flying around, he doesn't know the Earth is flat. Talk to a plane that does Southern trips. And if you get him off, you know, off record, he will tell you there's no curvature.
Yeah, because you
Why
risk.
just don't go black market and just go open up their own little podcast and just come out and just say, listen, we flew all around the Earth and the Earth's flat.
Yeah, we had a KLM pilot. She talked to us on our Globebusters show, and she was telling us how, you know, the gyros work, how the things that she could see, how she could chase the sun and it doesn't set, and she was fired the next day.
Let me ask you a question. When you fly an airplane, right? When you actually pull the airplane into the sky, where do you use the center point for when you fly in a plane?
What do you mean?
What's the machine that they use?
A gyroscope.
A gyroscope, right? What does gyro mean?
Spinning disc.
A spinning disc, right?
Yeah, well, gyroscope maintains rigidity in space. When you're cruising across the Earth, the horizon's dropping around. And so when the plane, like if this is the gyroscope and the plane turns, the gyroscope stays level. The gyroscope stays level, so I know to level out. If I'm going up, it stays level. If I'm going down, it stays level. If I turn, it stays level.
On that gyroscope, right? On the gyroscope, you have to make sure that the gyroscope is in line with what?
The flat Earth.
No, with the horizon.
The flat horizon, horizontal. Correct.
Yeah. So
the horizon is horizontal, not the curvizon, the horizon. Very good. Earth is flat. Welcome.
No.
Hey, they gonna drop this bomb. Stop that going.
He's trying to, and I'm explaining to him scientifically. He's still like, no, it's not like.
Nah, go in. I mean, okay.
Man, we don't win.
Let's move on
already with him.
One more. The Mark of Buddha asks, how do you explain NASA live stream on YouTube that shows a round Earth?
Yeah. Good question.
Yeah, go watch that. It's the ISS live stream. It's the same like 7-minute clip that they've been playing for 10 years. And if you watch it, just watch when they keep changing cameras. The Earth is curved like this, then it's curved like this. Sometimes it's curved, it's inverted. Just look at it with an open mind, and you can see that they're using a fisheye camera. I mean, it's ridiculous, and the stuff that they show is dumb. This is the stuff they show. They show stuff like this. It's horrible. It's literally horrible. Why does Buzz Aldrin have why does the Apollo astronauts have a Hollywood Walk of Fame star? Because they're actronauts. Okay? They're actronauts.
That was dope.
Right? How come the horizon when you're in an airplane, the horizon is always always at eye level. It's always at eye level. So if you're at 39,000 feet, the horizon is 242 miles away. That's what globe math tells you. Well, if you were standing on the Earth, 242 miles would have a drop of 39,050 feet. So if you're in an airplane at 39,000 feet, you have to add these two numbers together. The horizon should be 78,000 feet below you, but it's at eye level. 78,000 feet is higher than the U-2 spy plane. Okay. But you look out both windows, the horizon is in perfect alignment with your eye level. It should be 78,000 feet below you. You'd have to look down at it, but it's not. It's at eye level.
Round, but the Earth.
No, I don't believe everything is round. You believe everything is round. Trees aren't round.
Travel to space, you have to be round.
Trees aren't round. No one's traveling through space. You guys have a fake space background behind you. Here, this is round, but it's not real. Okay, this is round. This is Jupiter. Two pictures taken 2.5 years apart, and none of the clouds move. Why didn't the clouds move 2.5 years apart? Every cloud is the same.
Is that Jupiter?
That's Jupiter. Okay. So you believe it's a sphere because they showed you this. This is nonsense, right? Pluto. How did they get a picture of Pluto? Why is there a desert shaped like Pluto the dog, which was also created the same year that they discovered Pluto the planet? It's nonsense. And all of the people that were in charge of the heliocentric model, Pythagoras, Copernicus, Galileo, Kepler, and Newton, they're all Masons. They're all Masons.
So was Walt Disney.
Yeah, so is Walt Disney. He's also, in charge.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt that at all. That's why I said the first place that they went was to the moon. That was for a purpose. It wasn't just because they just wanted to go to the moon. They went to the moon because it was a Masonic symbol that symbolizes a certain Masonic order.
Yeah.
Cool story, bro.
That's not a story. That's actual facts.
The moon is the magnetism. The sun is electricity. We live in an electromagnetic battery.
Right. Admiral Byrd, they have this flat earth map behind him for some reason.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. It goes on and on and on.
The UN.
I like your glasses, man.
when I hear cool stories, I like wearing my cool story bro glasses.
I need to find out how you do that. I want to do that for Priest.
Yeah, he's on point.
You can.
I just do that.
All right, so look, let's go. All right, so you said the you don't even call it the ancient world. You call it the 1920. I'm talking about in the Sumerian text, I've seen a lot of photos, and I want to show it. Just go to Sumerian planets.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
Pull that up.
Are you talking about the Egyptian hieroglyphs where they show spheres?
I said Sumerian planet. This is Sumerian planets in there, and then go to image. Okay. And these are years old.
Do I see these? Do I get to see this?
I think he's talking about hieroglyphs.
Yeah, so there. I mean, if you look at that Egyptian stuff,
so
they have inscriptions of the dome or the gods bending over, making the dome. There's so much flat Earth stuff in their stuff.
If you're talking about Gab and Newton.
Okay, this is a Sumerian text. Could they see that? You see?
Not yet. Hold on. Okay. Go ahead.
All right. Now let's look at this text. Do you see?
You talking about these over here?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah,
those are the gods and those are the planets.
Those are the heavenly bodies. Yes.
Yeah, the heavenly bodies. Do you see the sun in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What's the shape of it?
Well, we know the sun is round.
We don't know that. It looks round, but again, as I showed you with the moon, you can't tell what shape something is. I could show you a square light. I could show you a square light at a mile away, and it looks like a sphere.
Okay.
Yeah. But like, the Earth is not in this hieroglyph. The heavenly bodies are.
How do you know that, AD?
Because how are they going to take a picture of themselves? How are they going to post our?
They didn't take that picture.
How do they go up in space?
What they did with those are the gods. Well, make it bigger. See, I'm about to bow. Cats, man. Y'all can see a circle, and you can see actually a circle right there, and say that's what is
actual
that?
Ancient text.
So that's the sun because you can see the sun rays.
Yeah, what's the other planets?
The crown of thorns.
You don't believe that the planet? No, those are the planets, and the planet Earth is in that. Press on it. Make it bigger. For the people
they see it nice and big. These are the other heavenly bodies. Yeah, we got Mars, we got Jupiter, Mercury. Yeah.
Right.
We're not disagreeing with any of this. They're pointing out the heavenly bodies above us. Absolutely.
The shape of them is circles.
It is a circle, yeah, but we're not disagreeing with the circles of the heavenly bodies.
No.
Yeah.
We're disagreeing. Body is the Earth. One of them is the Earth.
We're saying the Earth is not a sphere. The sun is a circle. From our perspective.
Well, this is from there. I'm just showing you from there what they saw.
Yeah.
They said circle. Now, when you go back to what they believed in, because like you said, Gab, what was you talking about? The flat Earth? Mm-hmm. Well, actually, you can see them not believing in a flat Earth. They knew the ancestors back then knew that the Earth was round.
How?
Or said it. Well, it's right in the picture. I don't have to say anything.
Show them the Hebrew interpretation of the flat Earth. Do you have that, or should I pull it up?
You can pull it up.
Not the Hebrews.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Let me see the Hebrews.
Tell you we're gonna go a little deeper, y'all. This is gonna be good.
All tunnels, bridges, canals never calculate for curvature. The Suez Canal, which I'm showing you here, I believe it's 100 miles long. There should be over a mile of drop, a mile, and there's none. It was all done on a straight datum line, flat level, and that's it.
That's because the Earth is round.
Oh boy.
No, this I'm showing on my screen now. This is the ancient Hebrew conception of the universe. And as you can see, here's the firmament, here's the dome, here's the heavens, here's Sheol, or as Jordan Maxwell recalled to it as hell. And then here's the flat earth right there.
Now, how could
God's kingdom?
Okay.
And that's,
All right,
that's
so wait a minute,
Hebrew.
hold up. That's Hebrew?
Yeah.
And who made that?
The Hebrews, I'm assuming.
Hey, you got a super chat. I want to say
That's not old as Samaria.
No,
Cabra it says that don't let your show go the way of the History Channel. And I agree. The History Channel went to complete disinformation. You should embrace what I'm showing you and understand that the earth is flat. The History Channel is a deception channel.
No, I'm loving what you're bringing out. No, everything you're bringing out, we listening to everything, man. We taking the information.
No, I got you. And Cabra, come collect your 2 Bitcoins if you're so sure. You know, you can't say flat earth is disinformation. If it is, show me information, anything that proves the earth is a globe. You got nothing except your head's round, so the earth is round.
I just want to point out for Priest, because he's really interested in the Sumerians. The world of Sumerians is like an inverted plate in a salty ocean. Below the plate is the hell, called Ker by Sumerians. Above the plate are the arched roofs of heaven.
Flat Earther did that, yo. Come on.
Well, it's talking about the Sumerians.
That was done like last week. Come on. I just pulled up an old tablet.
Yeah.
That what they saw, what the people back then.
Not somebody's written interpretation.
And you said it was flat.
We're talking about the ancients. You brought up the ancients. Here's a Hebrew. We have the Egyptian
All right, we can
interpretation.
Well,
here's the Egyptian interpretation.
Okay, so what's that?
That's nude at the top with the body of
that's
the
the
stars
creation of the earth, right?
This is the firmament.
All right, so what's flat in there? Go ahead, break it down.
That's not the firmament.
Here's the flat. Here's the firmament above it. You've seen this before.
That's not the firmament. See, that's not the firmament.
There's the stars.
That's what you call a non-understanding of what Newt is. Newt herself is the darkness of the galaxy. She holds all the stars in her body.
True. No disagreement there.
There's not no
That's true. That's the firmament.
She doesn't have a back. She's infinite.
She is.
You see what I'm saying? So all Kemet was showing you was a representation on a human level, because that's what I'm trying to get him to understand, is that what could be explained in science could be explained through actual life beings, because we live on a planet that produces life. In order to have life, you must come from something that's alive.
Tell Dave.
True.
That's true, right?
Yep.
So in order to have life, you must come from alive. So a dead woman and a dead man can't produce life, correct?
True.
So that means that in order for anything to be alive, it must have came from life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means that the energy that we get from the sun is what? It's alive, right?
Yeah.
So that means that the being itself is alive, right?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So that means that all the other stars inside of the galaxy are alive too, right?
Yeah.
Because in order to be alive, you must produce what?
Energy.
I'm with you there. I
Broke
believe
it
that the
down.
stars are souls and the
Broke it
sun
down.
is the soul of God.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, if you look at the sun in the sky, you can relate it to the Son of God, right? It warms your life. It warms your heart. It takes care of you. It feeds you. If you're watching the sun set over the water, you see the sun walking on the water to your feet, and your buddy a half a mile down the beach sees the sun walking on the water to his feet, and you can't see each other's personal relationship that you're having with the sun, the S-U-N. So it's the same thing. It's an analogy for these religious leaders out there. The sun dies on the 21st and is reborn on the 25th when it starts coming back in December. The sun goes out, it dies. 3 days later, it resurrects and it comes back. It's the same thing. There's like 50 different religions that have these same dates, the same stories, the same analogies. Now, I'm not dissing the religions. I think that maybe Jesus and Buddha and Muhammad, they all, all these different religions, they all had physical incarnations. Like right now, I'm incarnated here with the soul of, I don't know, the Star of David. Maybe that's the soul that's in me. Whatever it is, we're here in this realm, having this experience, expanding the mind of God. That's our job.
Dang, that's
our job is not to lose control of our soul, and they're trying to steal it by making you feel insignificant, making you desperate, taking away everything that makes you human, so they can steal your soul. So you'll kill yourself. That's what they want.
Could you pull out a scripture for me?
Sure.
Isaiah 40:22. I want Dave to break down this thing.
Wait, can I say a super chat real quick? It's
Yeah,
just gonna add on to a super chat here from Kenny Mansa for $25. He just wanted to add on to you saying, why aren't there any videos, animated or otherwise, that display or demonstrate anything going up and entering the earth from the bottom?
Yeah. So if you look at when you see what they call meteor showers only go down. If meteor showers were what they say, you'd see them shooting up from the horizon. Never see them shooting up from the horizon.
Why would you
You're
see
looking
a
out,
meteorite shooting from a horizon?
they'd
That
be
makes
coming
no
in at
sense.
all different directions, right? If I'm here,
40,
I could have
40.
a meteor coming this way, this way, this way. They'd be coming in all directions, but you only see them go down. And it's an electrical phenomenon, not a physical phenomena.
Well,
All right, here's the scripture. Here's the scripture for you, Dave. Break this down. Go ahead, read it for him.
Okay, so Priest is pointing out a biblical verse that says on Isaiah 40:22, it is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers. Go ahead and show him the circle.
Here's the circle of the earth. Here are the four corners of the earth, right?
Oh,
and it's sitting
right.
upon its footstool. It does not move.
That's what they're talking about.
That picture that you put up, right? That's not exactly correct, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because what you're doing is you're showing a whole circle of a picture, right? But then beyond the ice walls that you show, it's more land over there, correct?
Oh,
Don't know. We don't know. We're not allowed to go there. I'm showing one possibility. Maybe it's just ice. Maybe it's just ice like that.
Show him the other theory about
that
more
would make
land.
no sense because then all I'm seeing now is just a square.
So there's hidden data about this right here.
Yeah. There's
But see, to me, that's like all you're showing is the boundaries of the water. You're not showing the earth itself.
There's other suns.
I'm showing you the earth is right here. There's other suns. You know, it's possible that out here there could be a sun called Mars and a moon called Venus. You know that Venus has phases like our moon? And then out here is another sun called Saturn, and its moon is called Jupiter. And we could model it with a dome, and those suns and moons would look like little stars. They'd look like little wandering stars. Okay. There's so many possibilities out there. But if you look at so you know who Werner von Braun was? He was a German Nazi rocket scientist, supposedly. That's the story that was brought over here in Project Fishbowl. And he was the one that was put in charge of running NASA, a German Nazi scientist, rocket scientist, ran NASA. And when he died, on his gravestone, if I could find it, his gravestone said Psalms 19:1. And what Psalms 19:1 is, as I stall while I'm looking for it, it says, what's that? You could look it up. You could look it up. I don't know if I can find it.
Go ahead. We got 777 people in here, man. Hit that subscribe. Yo, tell them it's going down right now. We got Dave.
Psalms 19:1. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. The firmament is the dome. Why is a Nazi scientist talking about the dome? Okay. And the funny thing about this guy, in 1957, he wrote a book about a group of people that went to Mars to start a colony. And the leader in this book, Project Mars, 1957, he wrote the leader of that group was named Elon. Elon. This is Elon's rocket that he wants to go to Mars with. And a month ago, he tweeted, I want to redesign it and make it pointier. Okay. They're mocking us. They're mocking us every way. This is the crest for Space Command, Space Force, which is nonsense. This is Starfleet Command. They're mocking us. They're pre-programming us to believe this stuff, and then they're mocking us.
They was preparing you.
They're preparing us for nonsense. Rockets go up, and then they crash, and that's it.
Is that flat out the truth?
That is the truth.
I said the flat truth.
The flat out truth.
Killah, let me see if you can comprehend this. You know about the SR-71? Mm-hmm. This thing is like a razor blade. It doesn't have any paint on it because it gets so hot that the paint would burn off. And as a matter of fact, the thing leaks fuel until it goes because it heats up. It expands actually 6 inches. It can go Mach 3.2. Any faster, it starts ripping apart. And I believe this is the picture where it actually started getting some damage because it went a little faster than 3.2. This is a hunk of junk garbage that goes Mach 25. Okay. That's ridiculous. This thing is not aerodynamic. If you look up close, there's like PVC pipe going down the side. The connections are
He said PVC pipe.
there's PVC pipe on this thing.
Man.
Okay. This is a helium balloon. Okay. And we've proven it. Proven it.
That's a balloon?
It's a balloon.
That's
I have a
crazy.
series of videos called
That's crazy.
Rockets Are Balloons. And if you watch it, it'll blow your mind because the rockets are balloons. They're not
doubting
real.
it. I'm not saying, yeah.
Here, this thing weighs 4 million pounds and it's blowing around in the wind like a bouncy house. Okay. Because it's filled with helium.
What about ships that oceans carry? You know, those
What
are
about
big
'em?
Titanics and that oceans can carry an island,
Facts.
and that's big. You know.
What are you saying?
What about that? What I'm saying is like that's like no big deal that they can build something big out of metal and it can fly around and just.
But no.
Yeah.
They build it big out of metal, even though it's heavy. It's with the air in it. It's less dense than the water, so it sinks into the water until it finds that buoyancy, and then it floats. Right, but you know, I can jump. A butterfly can fly, but somehow gravity can hold this cruise ship upside down and trillions of tons of water upside down. That's nonsense. Everything
nonsense?
sits on the flat Earth plane. We're not moving, right? Remember all of the motions that the Earth is doing. It's corkscrewing through space, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Science tells us that at the equator, because of the centrifugal force, the Earth bulges 14 miles high. 14 miles high. An airplane flies at 5 miles high. At what point, when you're flying from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere on your ball, do you climb an extra 10 miles to just skim over that hump? Okay, that never happens, right?
You gotta
Because
remember, man, that airplane, right, in the atmosphere is a dot. You know what
I'm not
saying?
talking about that.
It's not
I'm
even
talking that
that
the height of
big
an airplane
compared
is
at all to
5
the Earth.
miles. The average height of an airplane is 5 miles. They say that bulge is 14 miles high. 14 is higher than 5. At what point do you climb over that? And the answer is never. It never does. You stay at the same altitude. And while all of that spinning is going on, we have lakes that are perfect mirrors, right? Perfect mirrors that don't, you know, while we're spinning, twirling, and whirling, that this is
That's why I say
insanity.
You still haven't shown me your perfect design of what the flat Earth is.
Why do I need a perfect design? I'm showing you that
top of
the
Earth.
scientific. I
Because
showed you the model.
What we living in right now is a perfect design.
No, it's not. It's a
Yes, it
nonsensical nonsensical design. There's
No,
zero.
it's actually
There's
Hold on,
perfect.
I want explain that. You said is not perfect. Explain that to us,
Yeah,
Dave.
So looking at gravity is an impossibility. So the sun is holding onto the Earth, but the
I want
Earth.
to do this clear. You're saying that gravity doesn't exist.
I'm saying that gravity does not exist because there's not rocky balls floating in space. The sun's gravity, the impossible sun, which is a gas ball in a vacuum, is holding on to a distant Earth. The Earth is holding on to a fairly distant moon. How come when the moon's coming around the backside of the Earth towards the sun, it doesn't speed up and get ripped away? Or when it's coming around, it doesn't slow down? It doesn't.
Because its
right?
magnetic charge compared to the Earth is
You're just throwing words out there. Magnetic
No,
charge? What
magnetic
magnetic
charge.
charge?
The magnetic charge of the Earth. You don't know that the Earth is magnetically charged?
Dude, this is what why is the Earth
It's not
magnetically
me.
charged?
You
Where's that
just said it
magnetic charge
was.
coming from?
Is it magnetically charged or it's not?
It is not. There's a magnetic.
Okay, so
there's a magnetic
your
center.
whole theory you just said now
No,
of the Earth
you're not.
being
You're not
magnetically
listening.
charged
You're not listening.
is what?
There's a magnetic North Pole. It's not coming from the center of the Earth where you think
So
it's
how
coming
come
from.
everything don't go up to the North Pole when we drop it?
Because things aren't magnetic. There are stories of
they're not.
ships that went to the North Pole and all of the nails got ripped out of
nothing's
the sides of the
magnetic
ship.
around us. Nothing's a magnetic around us.
There are stories, I haven't been there, of ships where the nails got pulled out of the ships when they got
Well,
too
that's just a
close to the north.
hypothetical story that you're talking about. Where
I don't-
glasses
I
at?
can't
So can
verify
put my
it.
glasses on for your story.
Yeah, I can't verify it. But how come compasses don't
Gas
work
rules
in
everything
Antarctica?
around.
How come compasses don't work in Antarctica?
Mm.
Because it's
Well,
too
no, I
far
don't-
away from the North Pole.
Well, I don't know too many.
I don't know what he's talking
I
about, guys.
don't, you go ahead. Have you been to Antarctica with a compass?
No, but I've seen
Yeah.
videos of people there trying to use
Videos,
a compass,
man. If you keep
and they all
watching
say
these
that they don't
videos,
work.
man, you got to have these experiences, man.
Again, according to the
Has anybody
if you
in the
look
chat
at,
been
do you know what
to
magnetic
Antarctica with a
declination
compass?
is? Magnetic declination.
Hey,
There's
Braxis wants
parts.
you to do his
There's
chat.
parts of Antarctica that the magnetic declination is 170 degrees. What that means is if it says if your compass points that way, it's really that way. That you have to ignore your compass and change it 170 degrees. That's almost a 180. Okay. And that's because it's all nonsense. The maps that we have are not real. The closest thing we have is what I showed you on the app. But there's other, it's not perfect. We don't know. But we're not a spinning ball flying through a space vacuum. That's impossible.
Can you prove that? Because you can't take one theory down unless you have the actual facts of the other theory.
That's not true.
How's that not true?
Because you don't need the facts of another theory to prove a theory wrong. Okay.
Why not? I mean, that's what it had to be based on, actual facts. Like if
One
you
has
tell me
nothing
if
to
you
do with
tell
the
me it's
others.
not a ball, you got to tell me at least what
It's
shape
solar-
it is.
Actual solar effects.
I'm telling
If
you
it's
that
not
the
a
Earth
ball,
is
what
a
shape
flat
is it?
plane. We
Uh-huh.
live in this pond. The sun and the moon circle around. Measurable, testable. You can go to the north, and in June, the sun never sets in Norway and in
what's the
Alaska.
bottom
That's
of the
because
Earth
it
look
never
like
gets
then?
far enough away from you. But if that was true, 6 months later there would be a 24-hour sun in Antarctica at the equal distance south. But there's not.
Hit the super chat if you have a question for Dave.
Yeah, because some of y'all got some good questions, man. Hit that super chat. Let's get it in. Dave is here. Man, this is great
Hey,
though.
this is deep, though. I
This
like-
is
I like the
deep. This is deep,
conversation,
Dave. You came prepared, man. You got some stuff that I've never seen before.
Real talk.
Dude, why do all of the agencies that run the world have a flat Earth map as their logo?
No.
Because the Earth
Wait a
is
minute,
flat. That's why.
Is that
That's their official logos.
Yeah, those are their official logos.
Who's not to say that that's a globe?
Hidden in plain sight.
yes?
Because it's flat. Because it's the Mercator.
Well, that's
it's
because it's on a
the
piece of paper.
that goes back
it's
to
the
Sumerian
Gleason's
You
map.
can't make a globe on a piece of paper.
Why isn't paper around?
Jeff F wants to point out.
Bust me on that one.
Jeff F says Psalms 19:6, sun moving,
Cuneiform-
not us.
No,
Yeah.
cuneiforms. They would write them on in scrolls, right? There's a certain round. I think the cuneiforms was like
Yeah, scrolls.
it was like rolled on something like that. We have to go pull that up.
So if the Earth was spinning, if the Earth was spinning, you could never build rock sculptures like this. And the centripetal force, if you could build them, you could only do it on the equator because
No,
if the Earth is spinning and you're up here on the
It's
Earth,
stronger than wind.
it's the centripetal force would push it over towards the equator, and it doesn't happen. The Earth is
here's my-
perfectly still.
Here's my question to you, real quick, Dave,
Go.
because you maybe could answer this. What's holding us down on the planet Earth if there's no gravity?
All right, I talked about that already. The Earth does not move. It has a negative charge. That negative charge it establishes a downward direction. It attracts everything towards it.
But you just said that the Earth wasn't magnetic.
No, it's not magnetic. It's electric. It has a negative electric charge. Okay, magnet and electric are two different things.
No, it's not.
So if you got a positive attitude,
There's electricity and then there's
you got
magnetism.
a negative attitude,
Yeah.
you could just float off
But
this
when you're
planet.
dealing with electrical current, right? In order for something to attract to another thing, it has to have a magnetic force on it. I give you an example. If he said that the Earth is electrical field is negative, right? That's what he said, right?
That's what I'm saying.
So that means that in order for something to pull to it, it has to be a positive force in order for it to attract, because negative and positive has to attract. That's correct.
Yeah, our universe is electromagnetic.
It's dielectric. It can, and we can do experiments. We could show you how it'll track a positive or a negative, but only when you crank that negative field up stronger than the Earth do you see the things that pop up. We've done it. We've got an electric plate We put it over the floor. We have a Van de Graaff generator. We cranked up the negative charge, and all of the little particles underneath it went up. Not metal, wood.
It's getting
you know,
crazy.
all sorts of
Somebody just
things.
said
They
planet's not
went
real.
up. Hey, you
Get
guys
out of
asked me
hand.
about the eclipse before.
Yeah,
Think about this.
because we just
The-
had an eclipse today.
The lunar eclipse is supposedly caused by the Earth going in between the sun and the moon and shadowing the moon. Okay. Well, besides, it would be impossible for the Earth to cast a shadow at that distance because shadows just blur out. There's been many eclipses, and there was one just yesterday, I believe, in Canada, and it's called a Saturnian eclipse, if I pronounce that right, where the observer, who's on the top of the Earth, you're always wherever you are is the top, could see the sun above the horizon and could see the moon above the horizon, and the eclipse starts. And worse than that, the eclipse starts from the top. It would, if the Earth was coming up in between, it would come up here, and the shade would come in from the bottom. But the eclipse started at the top. That proves that it's not the Earth doing it. That proves it. What's doing it? You got me. There's a lot of other people that have theories, but again, we can scientifically prove that it's not the Earth.
You've heard of Ketu and the Black Sun theory?
Yeah, Ketu and
Rahu.
Rahu and Ketu, right. I posted a video on the app not long ago where someone actually filmed it, and you could see Rahu and Ketu. And Ketu whizzed by the sun, and Rahu kind of just ate the sun like this. Now, I don't believe that they're snakes in the sky. I don't know what they are, but they're called Rahu and Ketu. And I'm with you.
It's really popular in Vedic astrology.
Yeah. So, also the shape of the eclipse that we see isn't what would happen if a sphere is casting a shadow on another sphere, because it comes in as an ellipse, then it would spread out, and then it would leave as an ellipse, because a sphere on a sphere, that's how a shadow is cast. But we see this perfect shadow come in and eat the sun. And then, like, what's causing it to become transparent? Like, why is it turning red? All of these, the heliocentric explanation for eclipses is ridiculous.
I heard
how about this?
Red. Go ahead.
So I keep trying to get to this point, and we keep losing it. But the three-body problem, as I was talking, if you take the world's best supercomputer and you say, okay, I've got a sun, it's got this much gravity, and I got a planet, and you put it in orbit, and it will model it perfectly. It'll go for 1,000 years. You can predict where it's going to be perfect. Then you add one more body, either a moon or a planet, and you put it in there. The entire thing goes into chaos mode and never repeats. Okay? There's no computer that can model it, no matter what. So we live in a solar system with like 60 friggin', planets and moons all together, and somehow everything repeats perfectly. And as a matter of fact, eclipses, which are impossible, right? The sun is 400 times bigger than the moon, and the moon is, 400 times closer. And somehow we get these perfect eclipses that happen, right?
Because the universe
the chances of it happening once are like 1 in a sextillion, a ridiculous number. But guess what? The eclipses happen every year, and the whole pattern repeats every 18 years. Every 18 years, all the eclipses happen again and again and again, like a perfect timepiece. Okay? Not a beehive, ridiculous gravity, made up dark matter, dark energy, bullshit universe. That's insanity. It's a perfect timepiece.
God's giant clock.
Yeah.
That's what the science of, who Benjamin Banneker was? He was born on the same day, November 9th. And Benjamin Banneker is the one that was credited for building the big clock. And the reason, the science that he used the science and technology that come from the Mali princes of West Africa. And they teach a science about how the earth is round and how it goes through a spherical shape, and how when you build your societies, you build it the same way that you do the heavens. That's why different cities are laid out in different places, because they built the cities according to the star bodies that they saw in space. That's why the pyramids is a certain place, and they line up with the belt of Asar.
No, they line up with the belt of Orion. And why are they still lined up in the belt of Orion? We traveled a quadrillion miles since then.
Excuse me, the original name of Orion is Asar. That's the ancient Egyptian name for.
Why are they still pointing at Orion? How is that
We're
possible?
living in a perfect universe. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
What saying a perfect universe doesn't mean anything. They tell us that everything's moving, that we're spinning and we're corkscrewing through space. How could we possibly be pointing at the same stars even 5 minutes later?
Because we're moving in a perfect form.
That doesn't mean anything. That's just a word you're using for. Explain the perfect form. Model it. They can't model 3 bodies, let alone 100 billion bodies.
If it's a certain part of the year that it's supposed to be on, then you're going to see the results of why the pyramids was built the way it was built, because they knew that we live in a perfect sphere world, and that this ball is going to turn around and hit at a certain angle. When it hits at that angle, you're going to be able to see actual science that the universe is in line with the pyramids.
Or they knew that the stars are in a perfect circle above us, and they lined everything up perfectly because it makes perfect sense.
But
I mean, to think that all of the stars in this beehive galaxy are actually modeling, are actually following and never move when they all have directions of their own. There's no way that they would be in the same spot. There's no way that we could look through the Georgia Guidestones and see the Polaris through that little hole. There's no way if we were moving. And it's there. It never moves. And your answer is because the solar system is a perfect system. That's ridiculous. That's childish.
How's that ridiculous?
Because you're just saying perfect. Guess what?
It is perfect.
But you can't explain how it's done.
I'm going to tell you how. I know tomorrow when you wake up in the morning, it's going to be perfect.
Because we're not moving, and the heavenly bodies the heavenly lights are circling around us.
Okay, so you don't think that those little light bulb things that you say the sun is, it wouldn't, because it's so small that it wouldn't fall off a trajectory?
You're just using words, man. You're not thinking it through.
How am I just using words? You saying that the sun is just a little ball that you got on your little picture up there. You say that the sun is that little light bulb, look like
it's kind of big.
Show the sun rays.
How big is the sun, bro?
The capriculus.
How big is the sun?
Some people say that it's 30 miles across. I think it's much smaller and much closer, but again, we don't know because we can't go there. I mean, if you follow these rays, it doesn't seem like the sun's much higher than the clouds. But again, the sun is in a position relative to each person. You gotta let me finish my sentence. That's why I'm talking over you, because I never get a point out. So I'm just gonna make my point, then I'll stop, and then you can talk.
Yeah,
okay. So go ahead, you first.
Okay, you just showed us a picture earlier of the sun when it had clouds behind it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you showed us a picture with the sun and it had clouds behind it, that means that it has to be in this atmosphere and it's not past the dome. Is that correct?
I said that the sun that we see, if you remember back at the beginning, the sun that we see is a projection into our system. How about this? Can I show you?
Okay,
hold
on. Let me finish. Let me answer that question. So you're saying that it's a projection inside of our sphere, right?
Yeah.
So how can a projection have clouds behind it?
Because it's being projected into a position, and it's more like a reflection. So everyone sees it in a different position based on where they are. So if the three of us were lined up 25 yards apart in a straight line, and we're all looking at a giant mirror in front of us, but the sun was setting behind us. We have another person go up to the mirror, and I say, I see the sun right there, and they draw a circle with a Sharpie. Then they walked over to you, and you would say, I see the sun right there. They draw a circle, and then they walk over to Killah. They draw a circle. Those circles would be 25 yards apart, right? So we're all seeing the sun in a different position. But let me try to, this is a little advanced. It's not that hard. Let me just go through this. It's going to take about 3 minutes. You guys into this?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you how an eclipse happens and how the sun and the moon are projected into our system. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. So Killah, pay attention here. So I'm going to go into the frequently asked questions. I'm going to hit the eclipses, and up comes a list of videos that they won't show you. So here is an eclipse. Now, I filmed this eclipse myself. It was a little hazy in the sky because they were spraying some crap in the sky, but this is the eclipse on the right. And then on the left, I am showing you, I'm making an eclipse. And that eclipse is being projected onto what I call my paper towel sky, right? During an eclipse, nobody has ever seen the moon approach the sun or exit the sun. They just see the eclipse. There's never any light, and that's the problem. So this was an eclipse that was filmed in Michigan, and we have a lens flare and then something else that's not a lens flare because it's locked to the position of the sun. The sun was about 85% eclipsed or 90% eclipsed at that time, and so was this little body down here, right? It was eclipsed. So let me just get that out of there. So what is this? And I say this is the projector, the actual source of the sun. And here is the sun that we see that's being projected into what I call the sky screen or our personal atmospheric dome. So that bright light on the left, it's actually eclipsed 90%, but you can't see it because it's so bright. But because it's so much eclipsed, we could actually see behind the sun, and we could see that projector. It's not a lens flare. So let me model this again, and I'll show you how it works. So let's just go a little bit farther. Here we go. So here's my eclipse. You can't see the moon because it's a new moon. There's no light on the moon. So the moon is not being projected into our reality. So there's my sun source, and there's my moon eclipsing it. And it's kind of showing you the same thing. There's the source, and there's the sun that we see. We don't see the moon, but we see something eclipsing it because there's no light on the moon being projected in. So then I said, hey, what if I did it with a little thinner paper? So I used some tissue paper because the sky screen is more transparent. So here we go. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to project the sun. I'm going to take the new moon and I'm going to eclipse it so you don't see it because there's nothing projected into our reality, and watch what happens. Okay, this is me just doing an experiment. Here comes my eclipse from the left. It's eclipsing the sun. Right? And then look at the projector. You can see through the sky, and there it is. And when I compare it to the actual eclipse, it kind of looks exactly the friggin' same. Okay? And that's what I think is going on when we see. And if you think about it, you know the government loves you. And what's the one thing they do when there's never a solar eclipse? They say, don't look at the sun. We're going to give you free glasses that will blind you so you can never see it. I look at the eclipses. We sat there for the entire hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it was, and we stared at the sun without sunglasses on. And the information downloads that I got, my eyesight got better. I felt healthier. It was incredible. They don't want you doing that. Okay?
I'm going to have to go to the chat room. He's too good.
To the track.
This guy Davis is
right.
Yo, man.
And you know what? Right. Let me just go back for 1 second. When you're talking about these ancient religions, these ancient cultures, thinking that the earth was a globe, this is called the Antikythera mechanism. It was discovered off of Greece, off of the island of Antikythera, and it had all these gears in it. And then recently they did a CAT scan on it, and they recreated it, and it creates a mechanism that shows all of the eclipses and the position of most of the planets. Okay. And it's a mechanical device like a clock that predicts where and when and how and exactly when the eclipses happen, right? It was over 2,000 years old or something. They dated it like way back, right? So this is advanced technology thousands of years ago that predicted eclipses based on a flat earth. It's called the Antikythera mechanism.
No, that's actually, like I told you about Benjamin Banneker. The first clock was created that way. That comes from the ancient science.
You probably believe that Alexander Graham Bell discovered the telephone. Not
this
true.
Is all based on actual science. If you go do the science of Benjamin Banneker, who was an actual human being, and go study what he built, the clock, you'll see that where he got that science from was from the science of Mali, which talks about the earth being round.
The clock flat. Is the clock face. The clock is not a ball. The clock is they hey, we'll give the slaves a clock, but we'll make it go around twice to confuse them. Clocks are 24-hour clocks. The clocks are based on the sun. The moon keeps track of the moons. They used to be called moons. Did you know that? There was 13 of them, and they were all 28 days, and then there was one extra day at the end of the year. But they used to be called moons. 13 moons. And check this out. This is a turtle. It has 13 tiles, and then it has 28 tiles around the outside, right? So turtles are very, very interesting, and they have to do with the Earth cycle. We're all part of this Earth system.
Benjamin Banneker.
Yeah.
Type in
So
Benjamin Banneker.
just like military time.
Yeah.
Exactly. At midnight, the sun is on the opposite side of the Earth from you. At noon, it's directly over you. It goes around that beautiful circle. And the way we see the sunset is very interesting. When you watch the sun go away, as I was explaining, we all see, we can only see so far through the atmosphere, and that creates a dome over us. And I call it our personal atmospheric dome. And when you watch the sun, so each person this is their personal dome. And as I move the sun, this point right here is where they see the sun. So it's noon here. It's afternoon here. It's leaving later here. It's nighttime here. Okay. And when the sun comes back, it's rising, and then it'll rise. These are all the different like time zones. And when it's here, watch, it's noon for this guy. It's, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whatever. It's early in the morning here. So California, New York, this is how the time zones work as the sun moves away. And as I showed you, the atmosphere is thick. And as it goes away, you lose sight of it. As a matter of fact, I'll show you right here. Here's a glass dome on top of just my flat earth blanket, whatever. And I'm bringing a light over, just cruising straight across. And when I watch this inside the dome, I see this light. It looks like a sun, and it never goes below it. It just goes here, and it fades out, just like the sun fade out I showed you. Now I'll bring the sun back. Here's sunrise. The sun gets up. It gets nice and brighter, and you're in the center of this.
I wonder
the
what
sun,
gives it the power to go across like that.
God.
Okay.
And then watch, it doesn't go below. It just stops and it fades out. The light's still on, and look, it's dark. Its light's still on. It's dark because light doesn't travel the way they told you it travels. Light years is light nonsense.
AD, pull up a Benjamin Banneker.
I got Benjamin Banneker right here. As I'm pulling it up, they asked me in high school, does anybody know in class what a light year is? I said, yeah, it's like a regular year, but with less calories.
That's truer than what they tell you a light year is.
I just wanted to throw that in there. Okay, here we go. Benjamin Banneker's clock. Oh, look, here's the dome. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were you going to say? My bad.
Now bring it up. Where's history? History of Benjamin Banneker.
Okay. Here we go.
Type in Benjamin Banneker, Molly Prince.
Molly Prince. Okay. Prince. Okay.
Not Prince, Prince. There you go.
Am I going to images?
Oh, look, all my silly trolls are here. Everyone, go check out Trillion's channel. He's got all the globe proofs there, all of them. Check them out.
What am I clicking on, man?
What's his name? Trillion?
Trillion. Trillian. He's got all the globe proofs. Every single one of them is there.
If you want, you can find it on your phone.
Yeah.
And then just let me know.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, for sure.
But yeah, Benjamin Banneker, that whole science that when he built the clock, that's what he built it off of the science of studying the heavens and how everything's spherical.
You can't find it?
Find what? What am I looking for?
Oh, I thought
he gonna find it on his phone. And then... Okay, man, you going in?
Yes.
All right. Any questions? Let's see. Does anyone have any questions for David in the chat? We talked about the how far up is the sun? I heard 5,000 miles.
I think the sun is, if you look at when we send a balloon, every time we send a balloon up to 120,000 feet, it kind of looks like the sun is right there, parallel with the balloon. So, but I also think that the lower you are, the lower the sun is. The sun it moves. Just like if I was looking at that mirror and I was moving, the sun would kind of follow me. So here's the sun. Right there, this is it kind of looks like it's not much higher than the balloon. The balloon's only at 120,000 feet. Never is the sun above the balloon. It's always off to the side.
So look at that picture right there.
Shout
How
out
did
to
the
Mr.
clouds
T.
get behind it? How the clouds get behind it if it's at that picture?
There's no cloud. The clouds are below it.
But earlier you showed us a picture with the sun and it had the clouds behind it.
Great. Very good. Very good. Good. As you go down, it goes down. Like when you're driving a car and you're looking at the sun or the moon, it follows you.
So
right?
If
you go up,
it going down.
Let me finish.
Yeah,
When
let
you
me
go
answer
up,
it.
it goes up. But the higher you go, the less it gets to a point where it's not the reflection or the projection isn't gonna keep matching your height, and you get to the point where you can't go any higher, and you get up here. There might be a lot of helium up here. Helios, the sun, very similar. Not sure what's going on there. So the sun is in the Helios layer, helium layer. Again, there's so many unknowns, but there's so many things that we can prove that we're not on a globe, and we can prove impossible. Like you can't have high pressure next to low pressure or no pressure, like vacuum of space, without a physical barrier. I don't believe space is a vacuum, so I don't believe we need a physical barrier, but I actually believe there is a physical barrier.
All right, we got a super chat, Priest. You want to say it?
Oh, shout out to Mr. T, man, for turning it. What color is that? Pink. Yeah, turning it pink. Can someone answers why it is? He dropped 50. Can someone answer why it is restricted to fly over Antarctica?
Yeah, because we have to protect the penguins and the ice. We have to have pristine ice. The Antarctic Treaty was formed in 1959, and a dozen or so countries signed on, and now almost every country is signed on, and nobody's allowed to go there. The reason being is not to protect the penguins. I'm starting to question if there's even penguins there. It's not to protect the pristine ice. In a time when all the countries were killing each other for resources, Admiral Byrd flies over Antarctica and says there's area bigger than the United States past the poles. That's a problem for the ball. And it's filled with resources. And then he's silenced. Shortly after that, he dies. Antarctic Treaty happens and nobody can go out there, but we can destroy the Amazon. We can fight each other for resources. Bullshit. They're hiding the truth of our world, because if people understood where we live, they would disconnect from the control system, from the matrix of fear that the government's put out there, and we would take back our God-given free will. People are willingly giving it away because they will defend the ball with words like, your head's a sphere and so is an apple, therefore the earth is a sphere, and it's perfect. What's perfect? I'm perfect. Okay, prove me wrong.
If Admiral Byrd mentioned outer land, doesn't that validate those outer land masses from that map that you had?
I think so. I think that he discovered there's more land. There's some interesting ideas on what happens. What land is. I'm under the belief now that our world, our melted out puddle, actually migrates around the Earth plane. And I don't know if it's 1,000 years or 10,000 years or hundreds of years, that let's say north of half of our world could be under ice, but the circle moves over to other land. Amazing. I'm going to have a video on the app on Saturday. It's a long video, and it's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to be the featured video of the day on Saturday. It's going to blow your mind.
Nice. Yeah, because we do know of the ages, like the age of of Aries.
Yeah, this gets into
age.
all of it. One of the things that I was listening to today was astrology. Astrologers work perfectly on a flat Earth, and I think astrology proves that the Earth is flat. One, because Mars in retrograde, 47 million miles away, or whatever the distance is. How the fuck is that going to a rock that far away going to affect my life? But it does, and that's because these things are in the Earth system. They're magnetic and electrical, and they're part of our system. They're the projectors of our reality. However it is, they're connected to us. So their positions really, really matter. But in astrology, you're tracking all of the motions of all of the wandering stars. But astrology doesn't pay attention to the motion of the Earth. They have the Earth in the same position, right? Astrology has a non-moving Earth.
There's no Earth sign. There's a sun sign. There's a moon sign.
And there's no, the Earth is moving. right? So it's relative to, it's bullshit once you realize it. But when the earth isn't moving and all of those things are moving around over you, then it's all trackable. But if you're moving and that sun is moving, you're in a car and all of a sudden the car next to you starts going forward and you think you're going backwards, right? If the earth was moving, astrology, there's no way you can figure it out.
Yeah.
But just
There's
think
no way.
about it though. If everything around us is moving, why wouldn't the earth be?
Because they're not planets. There's not rocks in the sky. They're energetic light sources, as I showed you earlier. Okay. There's no terra firma in the sky. There's no balls in the sky. I mean, you have to be crazy to believe that. Did you see, do you see these new planets that NASA showed us? I mean, how can anyone believe these are real?
Right. I never even heard this before.
Wait, how can anyone believe these are real? Do you, I mean, NASA, it lies about everything. Do you think these are real planets?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, well, you're wrong because they're frying pan bottoms. They're the bottoms of frying pans. Okay.
Well, yeah, if you put them like and making the image,
I'm showing you how easy it is to fool you. It's so easy to
but
fool
when
you.
I look through a camera,
No.
What I'm saying? The
If
camera that I'm looking through is not
NASA
fooling
published
me.
these, you would say they're planets. Well, they're frying pans.
No, I'm talking about, and if I get me a telescope and I look up in the sky and I see the moon and it's a round object.
How do you know it's round? Look at the full moon.
Look at it.
Look at the full moon. If it was round, there would be a hot spot and then faded light, but it's equal all the way around. Personally, I think the moon is round. Okay. But it's not reflecting sunlight because reflected light off of a sphere has a hot spot and then it fades away. Look at the moon. It's equally lit from edge to edge when it's full. Moon's full tonight. Go check it out.
Yeah, there's an eclipse earlier too.
There was, and it was a Seleninian eclipse where both the sun and the moon were above the horizon and the eclipse started. Okay.
We're here for the smoke.
Benjamin McGran asks, what are your thoughts on the Simpsons movie showing the dome?
They the Simpsons and the what's the other ones? South Park or whatever. They put truth in movies, lies in the news is what Russian Vid says. There's so many things that they're telling us. I don't know why. Maybe they're taunting us. Maybe it's part of their karma. They have to tell us. Like, look at all the big events that happen. There was always drills going on, exactly the same thing, right? It's part of their wizardry.
Well, yeah, there's a ritual that's going on, of course.
These are the photos of the wandering stars that NASA gives us. And when we use our super zoom cameras, this is what we actually see. I mean, and I've looked at Saturn. It looks amazing, right? But how are the rings the same exact brightness as the ball?
Man, and they twinkle.
Yeah.
And we can see the ring of Saturn right there.
Yeah.
And you can see that in the telescope.
Yo, it's getting heavy, man.
It is getting heavy, dude. And what's funny is the globe trolls. There's people out there that are purposely deceiving, and there's other people out there that are just butthurt and they don't want to admit they've been lied their whole life. But they never give a single proof. They just say, deep inside the butthole, they call me because I'm deep inside the rabbit hole. They just say silly, childish things. Give me something. Collect your Bitcoins. Anybody, okay? Collect them.
So you're undefeated right now.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, that's I wish Hootie was here, man.
Right.
Well, that's one thing we
question.
were talking about in the chat. Someone asked in the chat because in the future we do have someone named Tahuti, and he has some knowledge too, and he was looking to debate somebody about flat Earth. So that might be a future
Santos.
episode.
Yeah,
he wanted to debate Santos, but I think
you haven't heard him.
I think David would be able to articulate with the visuals.
Yeah, you haven't heard David yet.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of
Santos
debating
is good.
because there's people out there that no matter what you sell them, like Wolfie 6020, he's a shill. He works for billionaires and he knows the Earth is flat. He's basically he's the pilot for some super billionaires. And his whole life is just making ridiculous straw man argument bullshit about the globe. How is a 238,000 mile away moon only lighting up these clouds? They should light them all up. Okay, 238,000 miles. That light first, it can't reflect sunlight so bright. It is its own light, and it's right there above the clouds. If it was 238,000 miles away, it would light up all of the clouds.
So you're saying the moon is turning itself on and off by itself?
Well, I'm not saying what the moon is doing. I'm saying it's its own light. It has phases. It has something to do with the sun. When the sun gets close to it, it turns off. And when the sun gets far away, it's fully powered. And then that's why you have super high tides when there's a full moon. Why isn't there a super high tide when there's a new moon? Because the moon is still there. It's just not lit up. So why isn't there a super high tide? And that's because the moon is powered up and the salt water carries the current, and that affects the tides. Okay. And that's why there's only tides in salt water.
Oh man, shout out to Stringer. Stringer hit us with what's that color? Purple?
Yeah.
Shout out to Stringer. He said mental health awareness month. I said it. He said, say it. I said, this is kind of, are you saying, yeah, I know Dave's laughing too. Yo, are you saying that that's the moon behind that cloud?
Yeah,
and it's not lighting up the whole sky.
Why isn't it lighting up the whole sky? I mean, get a whole bunch of cotton balls on the floor, turn off the light, and get a light and hold it high up in the air. It's going to light them all up. If you want to only light up these right here, if you want to only light up these, then you have to bring it really close to them.
Okay.
Only a close local light can light things up that way, right?
Oh yeah, you're gonna get bombs all night with this dude. You get bombs all night. That's great.
Hey, going back to Mars for a second, this is the helicopter that's flying in 1% atmosphere, impossible, that has super fast rotating propellers, and this is not the actual thing. It's looking down and it's photographing its own shadow. How the fuck am I allowed to say that? How the heck can it capture the blades? What does it have, like a 9 million shutter speed? This thing is spinning so fast you wouldn't be able to see it. And this is the shadow. Why is the shadow two different colors? It's ridiculous. This is nonsense. This is supposedly Mars, and this is the shadow of the drone flying on Mars. Again, we're done with NASA. You know that NASA is not true. It doesn't prove the Earth is flat. I'll give it to you.
I don't know. You agree with that NASA being true?
With NASA being true?
Yeah, you believe NASA? He convinced me that NASA lying. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, 100%. I would never doubt that. You know what I'm saying? My thing is like, if my science doesn't even come from, images of NASA or anything like that. It comes from the ancient science of understanding how the galaxy works. I listen to NASA or, stuff like that. Like, now I look at nature. Nature is always the best teacher, way better than man is.
Check this one out. Killah, this one will get you. Buenos Aires, major airport. Perth, Australia, major airport. FlightAware says this is the fastest route, just this curve over here. But again, we can't disturb the penguins. So let's say you fly around, just go around it so you don't go over. That is the shortest route. But what is the actual route that they take? Where'd it go? I actually just lost that. Where'd it go? The actual route that they take is, where did it go? It just disappeared.
Somebody said, so how do you explain UFOs and space aliens?
Yeah, well, we can talk about that in a second. I've ruined my beautiful flow. Here's a different one. Buenos Aires to Cape Town, 4,276 miles, should take about 8 or 9 hours. But it doesn't. It takes 29 hours because they go all the way up to Amsterdam and then all the way down. That would be going from here on a globe all the way up here and then all the way back down. And it takes 29 hours. There is no flight between here. Okay? That's because this is all bullshit. This is the layout. This is the path that they go.
Yo, come on, chat room. Come on, chat room. Light it up.
Yeah, the flight patterns really expose a lot with the flight.
Not really, because you got to understand that the flight patterns, especially when you're dealing with a commercial flight, right? They always want to take you to Europe because they always got different flight patterns for picking up different people.
Nope. Direct flights.
Sometimes you want
These
to
are
make sure
direct
that your
flights.
plane is completely full.
They have completely full planes, direct
do that.
flights, and they don't need to go pick up passengers. There is a direct flight from Santiago
know
to
that,
Australia, but it goes a route that they're not telling us. If you want to go from Santiago to Australia, let me just find something that'll show that. So if you want to go from Santiago to Australia, you would kind of go south, and then southeast, right?
Pilot
and we did a live stream with Max Egan, who was taking that flight, and we tracked him the whole way, and his compass readings didn't really match. He had compass readings that were northwest, and then west, and then southwest, and then south. So these are the compass readings because this is the north. And that didn't make sense because he expected it to be dipping underneath the ball. The seatback pocket, the seatback television that showed his actual path, the path that he was supposed to be going on, didn't match. But when we took his compass readings and we lined them up, it made perfect sense. He's going southwest, southwest, west. Now he's going, that was northwest, sorry. Now he's going southwest and south. So his compass readings work perfectly on a flat earth. Perfectly. And the problem is NASA is in charge of GPS. NASA is in charge of radar. NASA is in charge of all flight routes, right? All international flight routes, especially. I'm not sure if they do the one inside the United States, but NASA, the liars that we just proved, are the ones in charge of all of that. There's been 16 documented emergency landings that make 0 sense on a globe, but make perfect sense on a flat earth, where they're going thousands of miles out of the way on the globe, but on a flat earth, it's straight line, right where they were. Okay. This book is free online, a PDF, or you can order it from lulu.com. I highly recommend it. It's a great coffee table book, and it'll blow you away. Awesome book, game changer.
So tell us where the sun is going, because you said that it goes up into the atmosphere.
It just circles around, and then you can't see it when it's far enough away from you. That's all.
And but you say it's coming from somewhere. Where's it coming from?
I don't know. It's being projected from within or above the firmament, and we're seeing it projected here.
So it might be inside of it, but it might be outside. We don't know though.
Well, the source of the sun, when I say above or within, I don't know. People say, well, the firmament is just the glass. Some people say, well, it's the plasma and the glass, and then it's the liquid above. That's all the firmament. So I just say above the firmament or within the firmament. We're underneath the firmament. Those are the words that I use.
And why is time different on each side of the earth? Also, why is the days not longer? If the earth is flat, the world would be bright on the edges.
No, not true. So here's the time zones. And if I turn on the time zones, the time turns with the sun. Wherever the sun is, it's noon. If I stop this right now, it's 1 a.m. or 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Australia, or it's Central Australia. It's noon. Where I am, it's 11:17 right now. Right. So it's right here. This is it. The time zones turn with the sun. Midnight is always opposed, the opposite side of where the sun is. And that's it. There's the time zones. And then if you want to talk about I showed it before, but I'll show it again. The way I say it should be light around the edges. Here is time and date. When the sun moves out towards the wall, which it's doing now, the light wraps around. So it kind of is light at the edge certain times of the year. Antarctica has 24 hours of light, but it doesn't have 24 hours of sun. Okay. You can have daylight without being able to see the sun. As I showed you in Antarctica, the sun is antarcing away from you. And when it goes around, it's the light in the dome wraps around. So you have Antarctica is all around the edge of this, and watch. Boom, there's the light wrapping around. I just did it. I showed you that it works. It works with an outside sun being projected inside the dome. It works, and it matches the time and date. It matches reality. And on a ball, half of the ball would be lit, half of it would be dark always. But It's not. It changes because the Earth is flat. We're within a dome. Deal with it.
Because if I call somebody in China, it's gonna be dark over there.
Are you not understanding? Look, it's dark in Australia. It's light over here. That's how it works.
I can show you that same design on the globe, though.
No, you can't.
Yes,
A globe has to be half lit. No matter how you turn a globe or where you move the sun, it lights up exactly half of a globe. And we have, we have times of the year where this is when it's half, in March and in September. Other times of the year, it's not half. It's more than half and it's less than half. Okay? And that's impossible on a globe.
No, it's not.
Get a ball, get a light, and show me how you can light up less than half of the ball.
Man, that's the whole science. They show you that all the time.
You got a ball in here, right? No, we need a light.
You need a dark room. You need one light, and then you'll see that no matter how you turn the ball, half of it's lit. You don't even need to test that. Use your brains.
Just the ingredients.
Use your brains. A ball, a single light can only be half lit.
Exactly.
And there's times of year, if you look at the day and night, time and date, we have less than half of it and then more than half of it. That's impossible on a ball.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Your cognitive dissonance is deep, man.
Yeah, you're right. So let me ask you a question. How come in Alaska you have days where
24 hours,
it might be a whole month?
Exactly. Oh my Lord, man. Are you not paying attention? Okay.
I am. I'm still trying to get you to tell me that.
I'm going to show you again. Okay. Ready? So in June, in the summer, which we're getting to, the sun is all the way in here on the Tropic of Cancer. Well, from here, this is midnight right now. It's right midnight in Alaska, and the sun is not far enough away to set. And now it's coming around, and it's going to start getting a little higher in the sky. And when it comes around, it's never far enough from Alaska. It's never far enough from Norway. Okay. These things are in the Arctic Circle. The sun is arcing around. It's never getting far enough away. But guess what? At this time of year, it never gets light. It's dark in Antarctica. Okay. So 6 months later, the sun moves all the way out to the Tropic of Capricorn, and the sun doesn't even reach Alaska. Now, this clock app doesn't show the exact day and night line. This is not what it's for, but the sun is so far away from these center points that the sun never rises. It's still light there a little bit at certain times, but when it's all the way out here, the sun never rises in places that are this far away in the center.
So the sun is like the size of like half the continent. That's what you're telling me.
I'm not telling you what size the sun is. We don't know what size the sun is. We don't know how far it is. We don't know how big it is.
On your scale model, you have it at a certain size.
I have it at a certain size, but I'm not saying it could be 5 miles in the air. It could be 500 miles in the air. It could be 3,000 miles in the air. Not sure.
Here comes the sun.
That's another way to put it. Here comes the sun. It comes and goes.
There's a lot of truth in music. You know, if you listen to Zeppelin, he comes from the land of the ice and snow where the midnight sun and the hot springs flow. They're talking about the center of the earth, the north, the midnight sun and the hot springs.
Other side of the moon.
And then
Dark
again,
side of the moon.
Yeah. And the Beatles, they were CIA run, and they're talking about the fool on the hill sees the sun going down, but the eyes in his head see the world spinning around. This is clearly not going down. It's just going away. It's getting smaller. Okay. And now the globe trolls will say, put on your glasses. You need a solar filter. If you put a solar filter on, you couldn't even see the sun because it's not bright enough, right? They don't want you to see this. This is what they don't want you to see. They don't want you to see that the sun goes down and then it stops. But usually by the time it stops, because it's just going away, it's gone behind something that's above your eye level, either the atmospheric deck of opacity or just hills and trees.
Yeah. Man, oh man, this is crazy. I need a lifeline.
Right. Call a friend? You want to call a friend?
Yeah, I might have to do that, man. I might have to do that. I might have to get Ngozi in here.
You got some good graphics. I see that graphic in the background. That's you showing the eclipse, right?
Yeah. So this is the sun migrating in between the Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. There's the equator, and only when it hits a nodal point, the moon and the sun come together, and then an eclipse happens. The moon travels between the tropics every 28 days, 14 days in, 14 days out. The sun moves in 6 months in, 6 months out, and only when they after a certain number of rotations they hit. And it repeats. The fact that eclipses repeat every 18 years tells you this is an intelligently designed, perfect system.
That's what I said earlier. But I'm going to let you say it, though.
It's a perfect clock.
It's a perfect clock. It's perfect.
And the most perfect design is a sphere.
All right. Any questions? We've got no photographic proof of a curved Earth.
Nah, we don't.
8 inches per mile squared, right?
Nah.
David?
Yeah, 8 inches per mile squared. Now that doesn't work for over like a couple thousand miles, but you can't see a couple thousand miles. It works perfectly for the distances that we need to calculate because it actually makes a parabola. And when it farther out you go, you lose it. But at 100 miles, 200 miles, it works perfectly.
So let me ask you a question. If the Earth ain't moving at all, right, and it's just flat and it's just here,
just like we sense it,
then explain why do clouds move then?
Because great question. Thanks for asking.
Good one.
So here's something that proves that we don't live on a ball. On the app, if you hit the middle button on the left there, this is a real-time radar of winds. And if I go up to 40,000 feet,
like Ninja Turtles.
So this is what's going on. These pink and white areas are
hypnotizing us right now.
are winds that are at 40,000 feet that are going to like 200 plus miles an hour.
What's causing that circulation?
Hear me out. The Earth is spinning in the opposite direction. The Earth is spinning in this direction. The Earth is spinning in this direction, right? But these winds are outrunning the spin of the Earth. Are you listening to what I said? Explain to me how the winds at 40,000 feet, they'd actually need to go faster than 1,000 miles an hour just to keep up with the spin of the Earth, but they're outrunning the spin of the Earth by a couple hundred miles an hour. That's impossible if the Earth was moving. Impossible.
Now, my question: what was that spinning?
That was just the air currents. That's showing you the air currents, and airplanes go actually use that to get into those currents and get a tailwind. They get like a 200-mile-an-hour tailwind. They could save a lot of time. But if the Earth, think about this, the Earth is spinning this way. The air is outrunning the spin of the Earth. It would lag back. If the Earth was spinning this way, it would lag back. But the Earth is outrunning the spin of the Earth. Outrunning the spin of the Earth. We're not moving.
Doesn't the Earth spin on an axis?
Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah. So if you put those winds on a globe, the Earth is spinning like this, and the winds out here are outrunning the spin of the Earth. The reason you're having a hard time making sense of this is because it makes no sense.
And you're absolutely correct about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't. It still don't make no sense to me. Just being 100.
I'm explaining the globe model, dude.
Yeah, but you still ain't told us what's making the wind move around, though.
I don't know. The toroidal field, maybe the toroidal field of the Earth is doing it because it spins the opposite direction inside. So if you ever look at a toroidal field, that could be it. It could be the ether.
It could be it, or is it it?
I don't know. Do you?
Yeah.
It certainly isn't this.
Why isn't it? I mean, because that's the way that the wind is moving. Every time I see a tornado, it makes that same shape right there.
It corkscrews through infinite space, and all those stars remain in the same position. Dude, to believe this and believe that we see the same stars and that eclipses happen on a regular cycle is because you're not using your brain at all. At all.
Okay.
At all.
All right. So anyone else have questions? We're trying to see what other questions we can ask while we still have David here. I see you're showing the you're showing the
yo, man. You
man.
you trying to go out for the kill move now.
Man.
Man, got me against the ropes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Listen, once you let go, I'm not ripping your world out from underneath you. I'm giving you a foundation to stand on. You're not on a speck spinning out of control in an infinite vacuum. There's no chance that an asteroid is going to take you out. There's no chance that nuclear bombs are going to take you out. There's no chance that you're going to run out of food, run out of fuel. All of that is nonsense. There's water. There's unlimited resources.
Pull me back out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to follow AD. AD's full.
It takes a while.
Totally,
And we don't expect people to just automatically like, oh, okay, I got it now. You know, like
when the
it takes a
brainwashing
while.
started.
It takes a while.
Right.
It took me a year to accept all this. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Right.
I didn't want to. My mind was blocking it. I'm like,
Yeah,
no,
me too.
No.
We all have the same story.
I'm a big Star Wars fan. I wanted it to be like Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? Like I watched Marvel, and you know, space. You know, it's like it seems so embedded in my mind. But
Yeah.
talk about red pill taking you out of
It's
the
all
matrix.
programming.
They're literally controlling the matrix with all that stuff. Okay, we got another super chat here. Chris Voss, Ancient Manifestation Secret, says North Pole spins the ether and causes tides and wind.
I'll go with that right there. Perfect.
You agree with that?
It sounds good. I can't prove it. Makes sense.
Yeah, some say that North Pole is the Garden of Eden, but that's probably another subject and all that.
Yeah, I would bet on that actually, but I can't prove it.
Now, have you seen that footage of like that giant
Eden was in
hole?
Samaria.
They talk about how there's there's like
I've seen that
huge
hole. I don't know if it's real or not. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's supposed to be supposedly the very center of the earth, where supposedly there's like the fountain of youth there.
Yeah.
Like if you're standing in the very, very center of the flat earth, like how does time even affect you? Do you know what I mean? Like supposedly there's some kind of special, like that would be the Garden of Eden supposedly, because it's the very, very center and you're being affected by time differently because you're right there in the center. I know it's getting way too deep, but
I was gonna ask you a question too. Is if the sun's on the outside or the inside of the dome, how come it doesn't burn the dome, the dome itself?
Because I don't believe that the sun is actually hot. I believe it's sending electricity down here, and the electricity is exciting it's feeding us, it's feeding plants, and it's exciting the air. It's cold on the top of a mountain because the air is thin. It's hot in Death Valley because the air is thick. And check this out. I was in the solar power business. Scientists do not understand. They don't know how solar power works. They have a theory that a photon is knocking out a boron molecule and then an electron jumps in there and starts creating a current and it creates a chain reaction. That's baloney. The reason they don't understand how it works is because the sun is more like a Tesla coil sending electricity here, and it's just collecting the electricity. It's that simple, but they don't look at it. If you put a house plant, one in front of a fire and one in front of an electric light, one of them is going to grow and the other one's going to shrivel up and die. The sun is not a burning ball sending heat where we're in this Goldilocks zone, not too far, not too close, right? It's just nonsense. Right. It's nonsense.
Just perfect.
It's nonsense. If that was true, the higher up you went, the colder it would get. The higher up you went, the colder it would get. It's not a thermal heat source. So it's sending electricity here.
Well, I have to ask you this question now. You explain to me heat waves and global warming. I don't believe in
global warming.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's climate change.
Explain to me hot days.
It gets hot because the sun is coming closer. So right now, the sun is almost, in a couple of weeks, the sun is going to be at its closest point, and then it's going to start moving away from us. Okay. It's going to start moving away. So if I look,
so the sun is like a pendulum.
Well, it's moving in and out. But so I'm here in Connecticut, and the closest the sun's going to get to me is this yellow line right here. Okay. So on June 21st, the sun's going to be here, and then it's going to start moving its way back away from me, but it's still getting hotter. Okay. And the reason for that is because the earth holds thermal energy. So when the sun is, between the equator, when it's as close as the equator to me in Connecticut here, it's warming us up. It's warming us up. And so even though it's warmed us up, now it's moving away again. It's still adding more heat to the thermal Earth. Because if it was the other way around, at nighttime it would be freezing. It would be freezing. So, and then as the sun goes away, the Earth starts cooling off. We have our winter. Everything freezes here. You guys know, you guys are in California, so you don't know that. But it's just the distance of the sun to us. That's it. It's not the tilt of the Earth, because the spin negates the tilt.
And those star trails show perfect circles.
Yeah, how can you have perfect circles when we're corkscrewing through space? Makes no sense.
Because we're corkscrewing through space. That's why we're having the perfect circle.
Because it's perfect,
But
right? I get it.
Corkscrew
Perfect.
would be like
No, corkscrew would be a corkscrew
while spinning at the same time.
while spinning at the same time. Yeah.
It would be chaos in the skies.
How?
Yeah,
If you're using magnetic energy, right?
Here we go again.
Magnetic energy would put everything in its proper alignment.
We would be seeing chaos in the skies, like
Because we're moving in 4 different directions at once.
yeah.
And somehow the stars with the slowest are only mimic the slowest motion. It makes 0 sense. It would never work.
No,
Don't
what
forget-
makes 0 sense is this small sun that you got on this big old Earth. I can't believe that the sun is that small. You know?
Crazy.
I just can't go for it.
Yeah.
Hey guys, you can find me at the flatearthpodcast.com. My website is theflatearthpodcast.com. My Instagram, my Facebook page, which I'm in jail right now for, and my website. I said the Flat Earth Podcast and theflatearthpodcast.com, and my app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. Check it out. Make sure it's by Blue Water Bay. If you're unsure, just go to theflatearthpodcast.com and there's a link there. Check it out. Take the challenge. Claim your Bitcoin.
We got one more question. Can you speak on Urantia? Urantia?
Urantia.
Urantia. Okay.
I don't know much about it.
No,
You know,
I do.
the book of Urantia
go.
is a very interesting book, but I don't understand it, so I'm not going to comment.
Okay. All right. Any last questions for David?
Man.
How you feel, Priest?
Nah, he
Priest,
came through.
Deal
Right,
with
go ahead.
it. Don't let anyone control your mind. Check it out yourself. Figure it out, because it's not that hard.
I'm gonna go do some more research on, because you're the second person that's I've had to talk to about flat Earth, and you know, and I get all different kind of theories and stuff. But like I always tell them is that with the globe theory, right? I can actually show you a physical globe, show you a sun over here.
No, you can't.
Listen, let me finish. I'm talking about theory wise. I'm talking about me on the scale model. When
Okay.
they build a scale model of what the universe is. They show you a globe, the moon traveling around.
K Brax's
Sorry.
super chat.
Hold on.
K Brax's super chat.
Okay. Go ahead. Say what you were saying.
Oh, is that when they show us the picture of the globe, it's an actual globe with the moon spinning around the globe, the sun in the background, and the planets aligned in different aspects moving around. And the way that you have it, where when the earth spin, the sunlight coming to the earth, certain parts of the planet it hits, certain parts of the planet it don't. Like I know for a fact, if I call somebody in Mexico, they're gonna have sun too. Why? Even though their land is so-called below, they still have sunlight. So therefore, on a scientific model scale, I can actually see it. But when I see the flat Earth scale, they show me it's like it's a big old ice ring around the whole planet, and then we're spinning through space.
Nope.
It's like a rock or something.
Nope.
Or they say that it's just there.
Nope.
Like you said, it's just there.
You have a completely misconception of what the flat Earth is. We're not spinning
that's
into
what you just
space.
showed me.
We're not in space, right? And it's not an
Right.
ice wall. It's the shoreline of the world pond. That's it. And the reason that you can see the sun in Mexico and California is because you're both on the same longitude. So the sun's just moving away. One of them is higher in the sky. One of them's lower in the sky. It's lower in your sky. It's higher in Mexico's sky because they're closer to the Tropic of Cancer. So you're completely wrong there. Completely.
How's that?
He probably are you
Did
the
you speak?
grandmaster? Did you persuade all of them? Did you?
I'm not.
Oh, this-
I don't talk
Yeah.
nonsense. I talk, I'm looking at the actual stuff. You're just saying stuff and you don't understand either model. You really don't understand either model. Here, explain this.
Uh-huh.
let's say in January, I'm here. So midnight is here and it's looking this way at stars. 6
Okay.
months later, I'm on the other side of the friggin' universe. Midnight is over here and I'm looking away at stars. And I could see some of the same stars. How would that be possible?
Well, if you go and you study the galaxy and how the
my-
constellations were formulated, then you'll know that certain times of the year has certain constellations in the sky. That's an actual fact.
Yeah, but you can see some of the same stars all year long when you should see none of the same stars. Not one, but you can see many of the same stars. And the reason you can't see some stars some of the year is because the stars lap the sun once a year. So 6 months apart, the zodiac stars are not visible for half the year.
Okay.
It works perfectly on a flat Earth model, but again, it's a little more advanced than I think that you're willing to look at.
No, because you're telling me that it's a flat Earth, and I'm like, okay, well, show me an actual physical model of this flat Earth theory that you're talking about, instead of showing me the Big Bang clock and this and that, and that the sun is just this little orb that's flying around us like a little fairy and stuff.
So you can do an experiment. You can get a piece of sheet metal or plastic or whatever, and you can set up some lights so you see these streaks along it, and then you give it the slightest bit of bend, and all those streaks disappear. It goes to a point, right? Flat floor, flat ocean, no curve. Okay, Earth is flat, and until you're willing to deal with it, you're going to live on your fantasy spinning ball model. Here, you know what? I concede. Earth is a globe. I concede.
Priest, did you want to say the Kabbalah practice?
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Kabbalah practice. He's been asking for a long time. Killah Priest, please don't let your show go the way that I think we already. That's not the question.
That was his super chat.
Oh, no, the History Channel. Oh, hell no. No, we said this already. This is not the history. This right here is the Truth Channel. What we try to do is get to the bottom of the truth.
Yeah.
And by any means necessary, it's like we need to have the discussion. I want to get to, that's why thanks, Vinny, for bringing Dave Weiss on here, because it's like, okay, sometimes to grow and to learn, you have to open up and be able to hear new ideas and understand. And we have to look at everything that we've been taught or been shown. I'm not scared to take those chances and look at it. And it's like we have different ideas, different ideologies. But at the end of the day, if we could come together with some sort of agreement as people, because we've been tricked, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
In every way there was, through history, through time, then we could, round earth.
Show me the proof.
Round. It is round, like a pizza.
Yeah.
Round like a pizza.
No, I was just kidding. What Dave is like when you listening, hey man, we sitting up here listening to it. He's coming out with a lot of the greatest I've ever heard. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to get me to look deeper into this situation. You know what I'm saying?
Don't you think that we'd have some photos of the globe at this point? With all the space travel, it's insanity. There's none.
Yeah, there's deep waters we haven't explored in the ocean.
Yeah, and we're going to Mars. Hysterical.
Supposedly, yeah.
Right. Hysterical.
It's all in the Matrix. It's the blue pill.
Well, AD, he's ready to wear the robes.
Oh, yeah.
With flat earth on it.
Jeff F says the sun rises at one end of the heavens and follows its course to the other end. Nothing can hide from its heat. Psalms 19:6, sun moving, not us.
Ooh.
There you go.
Let me read that again real slow.
Psalms 19:6.
Sun rises at one end of the heavens and follows its course. Wow, so the sun is moving. That's what he's saying?
Yeah.
What'd you say against
he is the light of the world, our rising savior, as he rises every morning.
Yeah.
All right.
And when the sun, the analemma, which used to be on globes, it shows it. This is a photo of the sun like every day or every week throughout the course of the year. And the outer southern path is a bigger circle. So you always get a bigger loop for the south. And then this is the north. And this is the path of the sun every year. And that shows that it's making a bigger loop in the south and a smaller loop in the north. and it shows it right on the globe.
Wow. Nice.
It's a lot,
right.
man.
Yep, I'm looking in the chat to see if there's any questions. I don't see any questions popping up right now. Priest is taking a quick 2-second break here, 1 minute break. They're saying it's like a fish tank.
Yeah.
The Earth is like it is kind of like a snow globe. Some people don't want to compare it to things. I like the CGI that you have, man. You've got some good
CGIs, yeah.
graphics and stuff that
I'm
really,
working on it.
explains things well. I like when you show the entire model of the Earth and Moon moving around. You know,
This puppy.
yeah, I like that one.
That's a good one.
Man.
Now people think, well, the sun and the moon aren't opposed all the time. They're not. This is just showing a certain clip where there's a full moon, so you can see
I
it.
know what's all that cushion around there that you keep talking about.
That's yin yang right there. That's yin yang.
Yeah, it could be.
It's just crazy.
Yeah,
to me
it
to
kinda
see
looks
how
like
the
it.
sun and the moon is so small that you have it on there like that. Like, wow.
Sun and moon would be the same size, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, they're pretty much the same size right there.
Sun, come on, man. Wait a minute. Hold
Sun
on,
and the
bro.
moon are the
You
same
just can't say-
size.
The
When
sun
they
and moon is-
they're the same size. Look up in the sky. They're the same size.
What's on the border though? It looks like what's on the border of the Earth? Why is it round like that?
It's because the sun is going in a circle, and it melted out a circular puddle. If it was going in a square, it would cut out a square puddle, but it's going in a circle, so it cut out a circular puddle. It melted a circular puddle. And it goes around our magnetic center. I believe our magnetic center is actually moving, and that this puddle could be migrating through the Earth plane
I mean, yeah.
Nice.
over a very long period of time.
Should I call up Ngozi? Well, I got some. He just hit me. I want some stuff in there. I'm gonna call up backup and reinforcement.
Oh, you calling out? Okay.
Dave would like that because that's what Dave.
I gotta
know,
wrap
I'm
it
just
up.
kidding.
It's almost
Yeah, I'm
midnight
just kidding
here.
with you. I'm just kidding with you.
Oh, I like that one back there too. You're showing.
Yeah, it's showing you how a local
Yeah, they
light
do.
works. A local light only lights up a certain area. Then you add the atmospheric density in, and once you're over like here, you can't see the sun because it's too far away. It just disappears.
See, I like your model because I practice this science called duality. So duality, what it is it's like opposites attract. So when I look at your model that you have, basically what you did was you inverted the science of before. Whereas before, the science was that the Earth was really small and the sun was really big and the Earth was small and it was going around the sun.
That's actually a
Your
lie.
science is-
That's
your
not
science-
true, and that
Understand.
that was made up in the 1900s. Okay,
Understand. What I'm
so
saying is that
so they
your
re-engineered
science is-
the flat Earth model onto a ball. If they reversed scienced it, that's it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that in your model, instead of the Earth being small and the sun being big, you have the sun being small and the Earth being big. It's like you just changed the trajectory of the science.
So their Luciferians love to inverse everything. They everything is the opposite. Lies in the news, truth in movies. They invert everything. When we're looking, they put transgenders in the White House. Okay, they want us worshiping. They want everything the opposite. It's all about duality, right? So you're trying to flip that back on me. It's them that's doing it.
No, I'm just talking about reality. Reality is we do live in a duality world. We live in a world where it's male and woman, correct?
Well, not that they're trying to change it to like him, they, them,
I'm
her.
not talking about them or whatever. I'm just talking about the actual science of the Earth. The actual science is that there is duality. Duality is man and woman, night and day, truth and a lie, good
Okay,
and evil.
works perfect on a
white and
flat
black.
Earth. Works perfect on a flat Earth.
Yeah, I'm saying that's not necessarily Luciferian knowledge. That's just the natural knowledge of the planet. We live in a dual-based society. That's why we got 2 eyes, 2 arms, and 2 legs.
Works perfectly on a flat Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he be taking the shots. He was a funny dude. Yeah, he's taking a shot.
That's why I say he just flipped the science. He went from a big sun to a little Earth to a little sun and a big Earth.
Yeah,
No,
you gotta have to
no,
talk to
they
me about
went
that
from a
little-
big Earth and a little sun to a little Earth and a big sun. That's what it was. All of the ancient civilizations all knew the Earth was the center and that the sun and the moon were small. But the Luciferians flipped it around and they came up with the heliocentric, right? The heliocentric. That's the sun sinister trick, right? And they created the soul lure system to steal your God-given soul away from you. That's why the lie.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Say what?
No, come on.
It's amazing how many Matrix agents are in the chat.
Oh, it's unbelievable. That dude, they follow me everywhere. That's all they do. And to all those agents out there, have some fucking respect and put some content on your channel that supports your stupid position.
Yeah, because if they had good knowledge, they would get some Bitcoin.
Yeah, they got nothing.
Man.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's
goodness.
unbelievable.
Bring it back down.
And they do it because they know that you have a lot of minds here that haven't been exposed to this. And if you have negative comments, people are like, oh, and they dismiss it because negative comments are very effective on swaying people away from looking at something. You know, it even happens to me when I'm watching a video and then I'll see some negative comments. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't look into that. But it's all mind control. People, don't fall for it. Think for yourselves. You have common sense versus nonsense. They've tried to get you to trade in your common sense for nonsense. No sense.
Oh, that's the sun.
We got a couple of super chats right here.
Shout out to Stringer.
That little thing you seen going around.
Shout out to Stringer. Hey, shout out to shout out to Conhart Media. Conhart Media purchased the app, no doubt. And Stringer said, "Speak on Lucifer, David."
I don't have a lot to say except that, you know, the people that run the world worship Lucifer,
which is technically Venus, which is the love of money and love.
Yeah,
we can talk about that another time.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother subject.
All right, let's see. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, all I was gonna say again, I said at the beginning, anybody that has a show, if you're interested in having me on, info@theflatearthpodcast.com, just link me your show, tell me what you're thinking about, and we'll set something up. That'll be great.
And your app is available on the
Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. You have to have iPhone 6 or above. It works on iPad beautifully. And Android, you have to have operating system 8.0 or higher. Check it out. And it's $3 and you don't have to subscribe. When the thing pops up, exit out right away if you don't want to subscribe. It's fine.
Nice. And they can get their questions answered there too.
All the questions are there. All the questions are there. But watch the daily videos. And then if you want more, hit the archive button next to the featured video. And you'll get all of the videos that Google is hiding from you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man.
If you don't believe that they're hiding stuff, just Google on YouTube Flat Earth and watch the nonsense that shows up in that feed.
Do you use DuckDuckGo instead of Google?
It doesn't do much of a difference because DuckDuckGo doesn't find most of the stuff. So basically, the app breaks the algorithm because it feeds you all of the right videos and not the nonsense by the shills.
Wow, so Google runs the matrix right now.
Oh yeah,
crazy.
So
okay, anybody else?
Killah, thanks for having me on, man.
Oh yeah, no man, no problem, man, no problem.
Yeah,
for real.
Word up.
Yo, man,
insightful. Very insightful.
Yeah, it was great. It was great having you on, man. Thanks,
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, David. Appreciate you. Shout out to Vinny B.
All right, thanks everybody. See ya.
All right.
Bye.
The Flat Earth Sun and Moon Clock App, a dynamic new app to teach family and friends about where they actually live. The sky is a perfect clock. The sun measures the hours and days. The moon measures the weeks and months. The star constellations measure the seasons and years. 12/12 or 24-hour clock face, or go hands-free. The Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock App with new added features. World Time. See what time it is all around the flat Earth. A true Earth compass that shows true navigation across and around the flat Earth plane. Weather. Tap for detailed local weather information. Know what phase and where the moon is at all times. Watch the sun travel between the tropics for the seasons. Select an amazing background. Add your own or have the app change it to a new one automatically every time you use the app. Add a countdown to your next big date. Learn the truth about our world with the featured video of the day. Web button for additional flat Earth related features, from the mythical curve calculator all the way to Tartaria. While talking to friends, easily pull up pictures that expose the globe lie and shine light on the flat Earth truth. Video playlists in different languages. See the real trade winds circling the flat Earth, and clean screen features. Simply click off the items you don't wish to see. The Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app is the best tool to show your friends and strangers how our flat Earth actually works.